This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to ya. We got an hour and 10 minutes until puck drop. Canada, Slovakia, quarterfinal action after what has been a jam-packed week so far as Canada took on, well, 4 teams in the past little bit here. 4 wins, 1 OT win against Latvia, and now they sit in the quarterfinals looking to advance against Slovakia. The last time Canada faced Slovakia, might I add, it went to overtime itself. So we'll see who has the maybe, hero goal. That's something that's been a little bit teased today, but also we'll see who can come up with the effort for Canada to hopefully end this one. Looks like the Canadian squad will change goaltenders tonight. Yes, that sounds like something that's happening, as it'll appear that Team Canada will go with Jack Ivankovic for the crease this evening over Carter George, who, he's won games at this tournament, but man, has he struggled as well. So we'll see how it all pans out for the Canadians tonight. Looking forward to having you along for the ride here tonight on Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard. Again, as you just tune in and get things going, head to the poll at the top of the chat. Go click if you think Canada's going to advance tonight, or if Slovakia is going to get the job done and crush the dreams of the Dream Killers. So that's where we find ourselves. What's the score in that American game? We should probably check that, eh? There's probably some information there. USA leads Finland still 2-1 with 2.5 minutes to go in the second period of play. So it's going to be a big night for the semifinal kind of math here, as Finland and USA will still be going here in a little bit. I think they'll probably finish up right before or right after Canada and Slovakia start. And then don't forget as well that Canada and Slovakia still have to decide the hockey game before the night's end to figure out who will be where in the semifinals. So, like I'm saying, glad to have you aboard for the ride here tonight. Thank you for hanging out so far as we get things started for what should be a really fun live stream tonight. Quarterfinals action. Again, this is where it peaked the last 2 years for Team Canada, and this is where things peaked on the channel the last 2 years because of that as well. So looking forward to, not having to have work today, a full day at least, and, end of the day, come home, get back in the studio after being live on the couch in Crossfield there the other night and doing some video work from the couch in Crossfield over the past few days. And now we just settle down, settle in, and get ready for 2026 here on Dolynny TV. So, good evening to you. I don't think Carter George is Skinner Jr. You got to remember what he did for Team Canada last year at the World Juniors. And TW 6:30 Pacific time, no, 6:30 Mountain time. So 5:30 Pacific time for puck drop this evening. And Crozier, again, I think the LA Kings have their crease pretty well sorted with George and some other prospects in there as well. I don't know why we have such an affinity for absolutely hating goaltenders even when they win. That's the thing. Like, Carter George has not cost Canada a game at the World Juniors, and first 2 or 3 comments are about how bad he is. I don't get it, but that's just me, friends. As Stuart Skinner, hey, he did pick up his first win in a Pittsburgh Penguins uniform at long last, so that's good to see Ryan welcome in as well as we get things fired up for tonight's live stream. The chat moving fast here to get things going, as it's going to be a fun night of hockey. I think Team Canada, obviously, against Slovakia has a real good chance to be a special matchup tonight, simply because if Canada pulls away and scores a bunch of goals, we've exercised the ghost there and we're done and dusted to the semifinals and at least guaranteed a shot at the medal. Whereas, if it's a tight hockey game, who doesn't like a quarterfinal matchup that's a little bit of drama, a little bit of intensity, and a little bit of this one might not go the way we think it will by the end of the night. So, hey, you know what? We'll see how it all goes here tonight for Team Canada and Slovakia. Again, the idea is we're watching to see what Finland and the US do as well. That'll kind of determine some things in the quarterfinals for not only Canada but also Sweden, or semifinals, sorry. Sweden, who else won today? Sorry, Sweden won, USA's leading, and Czechia won as well. So there's some math there depending on how things shake out. I think Canada's got 2 or 3 different opponent matchups. I can't remember how James Duthie wrote everything up there for us. And Rhyme, game starts at 6:40 is puck drop p.m. Mountain Time. So for those of you not in the Mountain Time Zone, that would be 8 Eastern, 8:40 Eastern, I guess. And of course, 5:40 Pacific Time as we get things going again. Tonight's game not available on CTV. That is a change from the final game of the round robin. So that's a little bit of a crazy go that TSN would throw it on the CTV channels there for the New Year's Eve game and then take it off for the quarterfinals game. I don't quite math out what TSN's doing with that one, unless, of course, TSN had some priorities for all their other channels, so hence trying to make it a little bit more readily available on national television in Canada. So we've got a few moments to go here, obviously, until I can take a break, but we are going to see if Team Canada can come out with an effort here tonight against Slovakia that, you know, just gets things done effectively. That's the problem. I mean, the last time you played against Slovakia went to overtime, and I think Gavin McKenna gave a pretty good quote today about what that meant to a lot of younger Canadian hockey players watching Connor Bedard do what he did with the with obviously the overtime winning goal and what happened on social media when that goal went in. So that's kind of the exciting part. Maybe a chance for somebody like McKenna to be the hero this time, or just simply run away with the hockey game and beat up on Slovakia rather handily. That would be decent out of Team Canada as well. And as well, I guess, maybe as TW's asking about the Edmonton Oilers, well, what we know about the Edmonton Oilers today, friends, if you're just tuning into the channel for the first time and I guess asking for the Oilers update, is the fact that Hudson and Howard are back up with the Oilers at this point. They will wing the third line alongside Matt Savoy as the center and see if they can generate some offense for a team that is starved for offense in the bottom six. Now the question is, will Chris Knobloch actually play them? That is the problem for the Edmonton Oilers. So even Knobloch in his post-practice interview today, sitting there talking about how, oh my goodness, there's so many negatives to playing Hudson, Howard, and Savoy. I don't know if we're going to be able to overcome those negatives. It was just the most ridiculous interview I've seen in forever out of a head coach that just, you know, has his three best prospects on the team, and he just can't find a way to say more than two good things about the players together. So that is where it is at. As Rhyme, unfortunately, I can't show any footage of the game. The problem with showing any footage of the game is I don't have any rights to the game, as it's copyright, and YouTube, the IIHF, and TSN strikes me right there, bans me from live streaming for, I believe it is 3 months at a minimum nowadays. So I'm not going to lose live streaming for 3 months just to show a replay or try and show the game that I don't have rights to. And again, as a broadcaster myself, I like when I have the rights to my own streams and people aren't freeloading. So from the TSN perspective, I understand that completely. So we are rolling along on the pregame here, friends. We're just about to 5:40, which means we're just about an hour away from puck drop here tonight between Team Canada and the Slovakian side. A big matchup in which Team Canada, like I'm saying, needs a massive effort here to avoid kind of the mistakes of the past several years at the World Juniors level. That, of course, came at the hands of Czechia, so maybe not the case here if you're facing Slovakia, but hopefully for Canada, they can avoid what Andrew's talking about in the chat, which is the Slovakia player guaranteeing victory for his side. Of course, that was an interesting situation there to see a Slovakian player going out there and being that bold about it. But I think, you know, it's kind of a bold tournament this year, right? Canada came in, beaten all across media as much as they could, how they were going to be the dream killers. They were going to go out there and, you know, crush everybody's dreams and win the tournament. And that's where I think it comes down to for Slovakia. There's a little bit of FU back at that mentality from Canada by saying that in the media here today. So glad to see Slovakia is at least geared up for the game. That's, hey, good to know, because Slovakia, again, once upon a time, just like Czechia and just like Latvia, afterthoughts in the tournament. So nice to see them kind of, you know, take a little bit of let's go here out of this tournament. So Yeah, it is rolling along here on the live stream here tonight, friends. We are, like I said, now an hour away from puck drop. That's the big, important, shiny news of the moment right now is Team Canada and Slovakia. Slovakia will get underway. I saw the old colors of the flag there and got confused, but it'll be Slovakia and Canada here in about an hour. Stay tuned. I'm just going to take a quick break upstairs to go grab a water bottle and get things going. Just want to give you a quick 10-minute pregame here, and then we'll be right back in about 3 or 4 minutes. Stay tuned here on Dolynny TV. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, specifically to stay tuned for Oilers coverage. We're 1,111 subscribers away from 20,000. All right, well, let's get back to this, friends. Team Canada, Team Slovakia. 6:40 puck drop. Would love to see Canada, like I said, come up with a big effort. If you're just tuning in, more welcome in as we get things going for tonight's live stream. Again, if you haven't had a chance yet to vote in the poll, make sure to do that at the top of your chat. 92% of you going for Canada to advance so far on 38 votes. And Slovakia coming up with about 8% of the vote there as well. So if you haven't, like I'm saying, get your chance in there, get a vote in, and let me know what you're thinking this game's going to turn into for Canada, Slovakia this evening. Of course, as we go to check the other scores today, Finland and USA end of 2. The Americans are up 2-1. Sweden won 6-3 over Latvia. Czechia beat Switzerland 6-2. So things earlier on in action, a little bit spread out, whereas the US and Finland a little bit closer, and Canada, Slovakia, the question will it be 2 close games or 3 blowouts? Well, we'll find out here tonight as things continue on along, as I think it's been an absolutely fun tournament so far for Canada. You know, going 4-0 in the group stage for the first time in a little while was a blast to watch. And I think as well from a perspective that you don't have Czechia in the quarterfinals, right? I guess that's a nice change of pace for us in the Canadian side, just simply because it's somebody else that you might have better results again, or somebody else that, you know, at least it's not Czechia eliminating you for another year. But I tell you, if Slovakia eliminates Canada at this year's World Juniors, there will be hell to pay at Hockey Canada. I will tell you, it'll be an absolute insane asylum in Hockey Canada's junior ranks as they try to decide what to do with the program, what they try to do going forward. As team selection this year was pretty dang good. Quite honestly, team selection was decent, so it shouldn't be a question of that. I think it's just a question of, you know, what do you have to do to beat these other hockey powers that have adapted now to figuring out how to beat the Canadian hockey game. So I think, as the panel for TSN was talking about today, it's a little bit to do with getting back to, just hard forecheck, simple plays. Don't go for, the fancy stuff that maybe the kids nowadays get accused of. Just keep it simple, play hard, heavy Canadian hockey, get in deep, and get the job done. And that's possibly something that we could be looking at here next year if everything doesn't go if everything doesn't go according to plan. So that is obviously where Canada sits tonight. And I highly doubt, just in my mind, not watching the game yet, and obviously watching a good bit of this tournament so far, I highly doubt that Canada won't beat Slovakia. But there's also some, nervous anxiousness, even ahead of the Denmark game, just simply for Canada. The big moments at this tournament the last 2 years have not been when Canada has shined brightest. And even that game against Finland, as it was a huge victory for Canada to go 4-0 in the group stage, but it still wasn't the most perfect game Canada could have possibly played. So, and that's not goaltender specific, that's not, defense specific. There was a lot of things that Canada throughout that game could have done just that much better to avoid what that game turned into by the end of it. Now, again, you erase the wild first 6-7 minutes of that game, maybe it's a whole different ball game, and we're talking about a much more happy Canadian squad and a much more happy Canadian fan base coming out of that one the other night. So we're rolling along here, friends. We've got, like I said, about 53 minutes now to go until puck drop between Canada and Slovakia this evening. Glad to have you aboard. What I will tell you right now, if you haven't already had the chance to hit that subscribe button here tonight, I want you to take the time to consider it, simply because it would be a fantastic time to get aboard the Oilers train, get aboard the Blue Jays train, and stay up to date with what happens with both teams as we get into, the back half of the season, the playoffs for the Oilers, and of course what will be a special year in the MLB for the Toronto Blue Jays. So we're rolling along here today on the broadcast, just rocking and rolling, and waiting for everybody to just kind of find their way in here this evening, as I think we're peaking up here as we get closer to the 6 o'clock hour. If you haven't already left a like on the stream as well, make sure to do that. Always appreciate that. That just helps everybody find the stream that much more, helps them figure out kind of where to at least find some kind of game updates. Again, it's very hard nowadays to find the live game on YouTube, if at all even possible, because obviously the TSN broadcasting side, the IIHF, and YouTube have collaborated to prevent copyright theft from the broadcasters, and that's great to see, because and obviously TSN and media across the world is struggling because everybody just jacks programs for free nowadays. So great. Jamie, just to say what website you can watch on, tsn.ca. You pay for a 1 week, 1 month membership, whatever they have available. I think 1 week would cost you like $7.99, whereas a month would cost you $12, $14. So maybe a month would be your most valid thing. You can watch some NFL football on there as well with TSN, and it might be worth your time, I will tell you, and worth your dollars. I understand people are struggling. I understand the economy in Canada ain't great, and I understand that dollars are tight. But again, there's ways about that, and then there's ways to properly do things, and ways to properly do things is pay for your media. Or go down to the bar. Come on. I'm missing the obvious here. If you want to watch the game, go down to the bar. Support your local bar, right? That hole in the wall that you said you'd never walk into. Tonight's a good night to go do that, I will tell you. Because I watched, the Four Nations final at a good bar here locally in my area, and it was one of the best games I'd watched all year last year. Just simply watching it with a bunch of rowdy Canadian folk out in the boonies, just like me. It was a great time, and very grateful that bars like that still exist to this day. Of course, a lot of you, if you tune into the channel regularly, would find out I've been spending a lot of time down at Old Town Pizza House and Bar in Airdrie, and it's been a great time down there at Old Town. Again, if you ever stop by Airdrie, two big places to check out: Main Street Beer and Barbecue, and of course Old Town. Some other great gems in there as well: Ferraro's, truly Italian. You got to go check that out if you want some good Italian pasta. That's where you got to check it out. So, yeah, that's where we're rolling along here, friends. I guess I didn't expect to be giving out restaurant recommendations in Airdrie, but just kind of par for the course where we're at here tonight as we roll along here now 20 minutes into the live stream, just about 50 minutes away from puck drop this evening. So glad to have you aboard. Like I said, it's 50 minutes. I know the game time says 6:30, but that's just the official broadcast time when everybody across the world will be able to tune in and get things going. So that's kind of where we find ourselves, is a big game against Slovakia. Again, I know I've already talked about it, and I know now I'm probably on repeat for some of you, but Canada versus Slovakia this evening, a night in which Canada cannot afford at all whatsoever to disappoint. It's got to be a game and a half here for Canada to try and get the job done against a squad in which, for Slovakia is here to win tonight's hockey game as well. They've made it known, they've made it claimed as such, and they are really, really ready to rock and roll for what should be a tough game for Canada. But, Canada, if they have the success they did against Finland, if they have the success they did against Czechia, it should at least be a very highly entertaining, very highly competitive, very easygoing, high-scoring game that, you never feel like the Canadians aren't going to win the game. That's just what I want to avoid here. There was, the feeling against Latvia where this one could slip. But, here tonight against Slovakia, Denmark was never in question. But, again, Finland, there was a moment where, hold on, this one could get interesting. And even old Mikey V there on the live stream on, what was that, Wednesday night, saying, man, I see Finland winning this one. Well, tonight, I think the country of Canada 100% sees Canada winning this one. Again, hell to pay for Hockey Canada if not. But when it comes down to it for the Canadian side, you can't take that for granted. And that's what we've talked about a lot here. This tournament for Canada is the past few years taking things for granted. The past few years not necessarily being the most dominant team possible, playing the most direct style, playing the most Canadian style you possibly can, which is that heavy forecheck, that hard-hitting style, and of course the simple keep it to the outside, keep it controlled defense that Canada once upon a time was so good at the international level. So stay tuned here, friends. We've got puck drop in, like I said, just about 47 minutes now. Oh boy, we're closing in on getting things rolling here for what should be a real fun live stream this evening. And obviously it's just a game in which, like I'm saying, Canada has to come up with a result. It's been 2 years at the quarterfinals where Canada's been bounced. I get it that Czechia is kind of, a different team than Slovakia, but I think Slovakia is a team that you give them enough room to make you hurt, they're going to make you hurt. And that's what we saw a little bit against Sweden to start the tournament. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what Slovakia has up their sleeve. They are guaranteeing a win today, so that's a whole nother situation, as well as Slovakia's looking to really knock off the Dream Killers and become, I guess, what would ultimately be the Dream Crushers, or whatever way you want to put that out into the universe. That would be what that is. So waiting for the results in that one. Again, if you haven't had a chance yet, I know I keep saying this as well, if you haven't voted in the poll yet this evening, the question this evening is, poll, does Canada advance? Well, the question is absolutely with a result of 87% of 54 votes so far, and 13% of you going for Slovakia. As I'm saying, the Dream Crushers, not the Dream Killers, the Dream Crushers for Team Canada, if they find a way to win here this evening at the 2026 World Juniors quarterfinal action. So do we know anything else other than Jack Ivankovic will start this evening for the Team Canada squad? That is what you need to know. It'll be interesting to see what Ivankovic does for the Canadians. Obviously, he had a good game against Latvia, and really that's been his only 2 starts at things so far. So we'll see if he can get things going for Team Canada in a game in which, like I'm saying, is highly crucial. The Blues beat the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. You love to see that if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan. That's a huge victory for us Oilers fans, actually, as the less Vegas wins over the next 3 or 4 weeks, the more the Oilers really have a chance to pull away once we get back from the Olympic break. Man, oh man, pulling away from the Vegas Golden Knights after the Olympic break would be absolutely fantastic. So, prime as you say, basically, if Slovakia wins, it's a major upset and will require a complete collapse from Canada. I would not say that. Again, the way Slovakia played against Sweden shows me that they can surprise. And again, right, Canada's a powerhouse at this tournament this year based on group play. That's not the case fully, completely, because Sweden is better yet. And Slovakia played Sweden pretty tight for half a game. So if, Slovakia keeps that effort going for 60 minutes, it's not going to be easy sledding for their Team Canada. It's not necessarily going to be the upset that us Canadians might think it will be. I think more internationally it'll be like, hey, Slovakia has arrived at the international level, kind of like Czechia 2 years ago. So we'll see how this goes. As Ben, did they play yet? No. The game drops the puck at 6:40. So that's kind of where we'll find it. And Dave, in terms of Slovakia's results in the group stage, again, there's a reason they're playing Canada in the quarterfinals. It's not like they swept the group on the other side. The thing with Slovakia is all they need is one good game. And even if Slovakia gets one good game and they have themselves the game of the tournament and they upset Canada, that doesn't excuse it from a Canadian standpoint. I'm just saying, again, it's maybe not to the degree that, for us, it'll be a crushing defeating, like, what the heck's happening with our hockey game and our hockey talents and all that at the international level. That'll be devastating for Canada. But internationally, I think it'll be more that moment that, like I said, 2 years ago, Czechia arrived on the scene at the international tournaments. And now, for Canada, this might be, if Slovakia wins, the moment that Slovakia arrives on the international stage. So that's kind of where we're at. And Janice, basically if Canada loses here, again, same as last year, we're done. That's kind of the case, right? It's 3 years in a row Canada could be facing defeat in the quarterfinals. Again, I think quite awesomely, I think Canada's going to win this hockey game. I think it's going to be a little bit of a laugher if the Canadians play like they have throughout the preliminary round. Even a game like they had against Latvia. Again, remember, they got goaltending, they got defense, and they got just enough goal scoring. So you get the goal scoring from the other games and the goaltending and defense out of Ivankovic and the defense that you did in that Latvia game. And this game is an absolute laugher start to finish for Team Canada. So that's kind of where I guess, I don't know really how to put all of this into context. Really, at the end of the day, is it's going to be a game in which you almost have to just wait and see for the results and hope that Canada really just delivers start to finish as the game wears on, because again, anything less than a victory is not acceptable, obviously, and anything that isn't a blowout will still raise a lot of questions at the international level of hockey in Canada. Again, thankfully, the nice part is it won't raise Olympic concerns for Canada, given, again, the talent and the guys going for the Olympic squad for Canada this year. And I don't care about the 3 or 4 guys you'd want there that aren't there, or that went that aren't, or whatever, however you want to debate the Canadian Olympic roster. It's pretty fair and easy to say at the end of the day for Canada that when you've got Connor, when you've got Sid, when you've got Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar on the blue line, you should have 100% have no issue winning an international tournament. So, right, Canada has waited years for this, to have the NHL players back at the tournament. I think it'll be pretty straight up and straightforward for Canada to find a way to get this job done. So we're at the 6 o'clock hour now. We're 40 minutes away from puck drop between Canada and Slovakia. We're going to tune back in here to TSN 4, which has us going here, as my old friend Kevin. Sometimes names pop up in the chat And there's Kevin popping up in the chat. My good buddy, it is good to see you in the chat. Great to hear from you. Hope everything's going well for you. And definitely feel free to reach out sometime, as I'd love to catch up with you, as we'll probably catch up over the live stream here tonight as Team Canada takes on Slovakia. As me and Kevin go way back to the old days when Dolynny TV was not what it is today. That's the crazy part. Kevin heard about Dolynny TV when, 20 views in an afternoon was a great afternoon here on the channel. 20 views, trust me, used to get pretty dang excited about that back in the day. So we are rolling here, friends. We are now in, like I said, the 6 o'clock hour. We are waiting for Canada to drop the puck at 6:40 against Slovakia. Again, if you haven't had the chance yet, I see Slovakia has kind of fallen back in the poll again here tonight. Now on 74 votes, Slovakia is down to 9% of the vote. Dylan also joining the chat here tonight as we get a little bit of Blue Jays coverage on the channel here the past few days as well. As for Canada, again, this should be, as the poll is right now, over 90% for Canada. It should be that way start to finish tonight, as Canada should just start hot, finish hot, and all in between be hot. But I guess the question is, will Canada be hot the full way through? That's what we're waiting for them to answer for us this evening, as the live stream, like I said, is now flipped over to, yes indeed, the 6 o'clock hour. Always a good time to start a new hour on the live streams. Just gives me a fresh, exciting moment to get closer to action. And for Canada, obviously the question of the tournament will be, can you show up and show out here in the quarterfinals, where you have had a lot of issues the last 2 years? And again, I guess what we haven't talked about from a Canadian perspective in the quarterfinals is, can Canada be disciplined enough to win this hockey game? It's not even a question of how good will Slovakia be. Is Canada going to simply cost themselves the tournament here by not being disciplined enough? Now, there's not a less penalized team at the tournament so far than Canada, so that's a positive note to take forward into this game. But for Canada, the question is now, can you get the job done against Slovakia, who, again, they're good enough, so you might end up taking a few penalties, and can you just control that and pull that back and stop that from costing you the hockey game here tonight? Friends, I can smell dinner on the stove, so I'm going to quickly take a TV timeout to go upstairs and grab a quick bite or two to eat. I'll be right back. Again, if you haven't had the chance yet to hit that subscribe button, definitely make sure to do that. I'll be right back here on Dolynny TV about 6:10, 6:12. All right, well, that was one piece of tasty chicken, let me tell you. The Team Canada squad drops the puck at 6:40 against Slovakia here this evening. As, it's going to be an absolute thrill a minute here tonight, hopefully for the Canadian side. That would be great. All right. As, the old Canadian squad trying to avoid the disappointment of the quarterfinals for a third year in a row. That is, of course, the task at hand, and how the Canadians choose to deal with that is going to be the most interesting part of this tournament here this year. Is Slovakia, again, maybe not the powerhouse that Czechia has become, but there's always that moment when somebody arrives, right? There's always that moment when you become more than you were. And that's where tonight, Slovakia, that's what their motivation, that's what their goal is at the end of the day, is to try and do that to Canada here at this year's tournament. For Canada, the idea, the whole goal is to avoid the disappointment that has been the World Juniors the past 2 years. And the only way to do that, the only way to avoid that is, of course, win here against Slovakia. Jack of Ivankovic takes the net from Carter George. I think a move in which, for a lot of Canadian fans, after not a bad tournament, obviously George went undefeated, as did Ivankovic in that round robin, but a move in which for Ivankovic and Carter George is well welcome as Canada tries to find a way, maybe, just give Slovakia a look at a goaltender that might not have been as well scouted this tournament as Carter George had been coming in. Right, Ivankovic, only 2 starts the last 2 years, both against Latvia, which on a, juniors level, maybe not the best test, maybe not the easiest game to analyze about a goaltender at the World Juniors. So that's maybe the hope and promise here for Team Canada on what they're trying to achieve against obviously Slovakia here tonight. And as well, friends, if you haven't already left a like here on the stream, make sure to do that here this evening. Would love to have you aboard for hitting that like button, as obviously it just helps folks find the live streams that much easier. It's a 6:40 puck drop this evening. Keep that in mind as we get closer and closer to the 6:30 time on the clock here. It'll still kind of take a few more moments after 6:30 to get the old puck dropped and the game underway against the Slovakian side here this evening. So we're rocking and rolling what could be a special evening for Team Canada. Again, for us, we shouldn't be proud or excited to get past the quarterfinals, but there is, of course, that question of, can we do it? And if we do it, it'll be a moment where the Canadians will take a moment to exhale, breathe a sigh of relief, and really enjoy the fact that we're moving on to, probably a matchup against the Americans. I think that's what it's looking like here for Canada, is likely a matchup against the Americans. Again, they have to win. That's the problem for the U.S. side. There's 10 minutes left in the third period, and they're leaving time thin, which, again, against Finland, never a really good idea to leave it to last. So hockey going for Canada this evening, saying Canada is pretty good with offense, but the Slovakians have a good goalie. Well, that's to be said as well for Slovakia. Like I'm saying, they're not a terrible team. Again, anything less than a victory here for Canada is a massive failure. Let's not mistake that. But again, that's not to discredit how good of a team and how much of a challenge Slovakia truly could prove to be here tonight for Team Canada. So we're closing in now on, 6:15, which would bring us ever closer to that nice old 6:40 puck drop here for Canada this evening. Glad to have you aboard again. If you've been tuned in for the pregame show for a little while, sorry that I've been repetitive. It's just, as I'm sure a lot of you have figured out, kind of par for the course is I have to chat with everybody that walks in through the door here tonight, and it's It's a lot of you that walk in during the World Juniors. Again, this is my big show every year. I know that the NHL playoffs kind of were the big show there a few years ago, and I'm looking forward to that being the case again this year. Again, if you're looking for some Oilers live streams here this weekend, I might just have the game against Philadelphia tomorrow at 1:30 if I can convince myself to get out of bed early enough, fire up a stream and get things going. Again, kind of taking these winter holidays pretty seriously here this year. Christmas, slept in a little bit, enjoyed some hockey, and New Year's stayed up late and slept in because of it. So we're hoping for a little bit more of a tame night tonight, and then we'll see how things translate here this evening. So looking for us to get back on the World Junior pregame show here for everything this evening as Team Canada takes on Slovakia at the World Juniors quarterfinal action. A big night if you're Team Canada, a big night if you're Slovakia, having a player already guarantee a win for their country. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out here this evening, that's for sure. As, it'll be a tough test for Canada. At least, probably not, I'm not meaning the whole game, but probably for at least a little bit of the game, there will be somewhat of a tough test for the Canadian squad. Just because, again, what Slovakia did against Sweden in that first period of the first game of the tournament was pretty dang special to watch, and that's kind of what I expect early on from Slovakia. It's, again, how does the Canadian attack, how does the Canadian defense adapt, and how do they push forward into creating havoc against Slovakia in their own end, the same way that Sweden did. Again, Canada, a fast-paced team. Slovakia kind of ran into penalty trouble against Sweden at the start of the tournament, so there is some questions there as to how this could play out. As Michael, welcome aboard, cheering for Slovakia here this evening. Glad to see some support there as well. As if you haven't voted in the poll, make sure to give your Slovakian side a little bit of a dream crusher vibe there. Is right now on 115 votes, still the vote 90% plus for Team Canada here this evening on the Dolynny TV pre-game poll, or even game poll. I think that's what we've been doing, is just leaving it up throughout the games here recently. So, like I said, we're closing in. It's now 6:15 on the clock, so we're getting closer and closer by the minute to getting this game underway between Canada and Slovakia this evening. And what is going to be a very important game for both sides. Obviously, IIHF starting to see some increased ice time as the tournament wears on. And both teams coming in with different stories in this tournament so far, but both teams an equal opportunity, at least at puck drop, to advance to the quarterfinals. So that's kind of where we're going to see, hopefully, Canada, like I said, just finds a way to pull away as the tournament wears on in the quarterfinal action. Obviously, things are just about done. The lines for Team Canada this evening: Aginla, Misa, Martone, McKenna, Hage, and Martin. Of course, the top six remaining unchanged. There was a moment where the top six did change for a brief moment. Desnoyers, Baudouin, and O'Reilly on the third line. They have been absolutely dynamite the last few games. And then, of course, Luchenko, Reshny, and Coots getting things going out there for the fourth line. You got no 13th forward tonight. Instead, Reed, Perek, Mackenzie, Brunick, Aitchison, Danford, Carls pulls back in, Verhoff alongside him for the fourth D pair. 4 forward lines, 4 D pair lines. Joey, welcome in as we get things rolling here now into the final 25 minutes before puck drop this evening. Luke is cheering for Slovakia as well, as things are getting closer to puck drop, and we're starting to see some Slovakian friends tuning in again. Again, we would have had some Slovakian friends hit the subscribe button here on Dolynny TV in that game against Sweden. As definitely, if you haven't already done that, again, this would be a great opportunity for me to ask you to hit that one more time. As the subscriber count totals up, we're closing in on the last 1,100 subscribers to the end-all be-all of 20,000 here. I think currently right now 18,919. So we're rolling along now inside, well, the last basically 1,080 to go. That's not bad at all. As thank you to all of you that have hit that subscribe button, and I truly appreciate that. Again, I will caution you, I cannot show you the live stream of the game simply because it's copyright of TSN and the IIHF, and the old YouTube does not like when you steal other people's copyright, and specifically sports is starting to get a lot of people banned. So that's kind of where we're at here this evening. So yeah, just kind of, rolling along here for what should be a solid finish to this World Juniors here. It's quarterfinals tonight, semifinals Sunday, final on Monday. So we'll see how this all rolls out here this evening as, yeah, obviously for Canada against Slovakia, you just cannot disappoint. Big time situation here for Canada is this quarterfinals needs to be a result. That's the toughest part of it. Having lost to Czechia in the last 2 years, Canada cannot afford a situation where things do not go right this year, today, at the quarterfinal level. So Canada against Slovakia, 6:40 p.m. puck drop. Again, to tell you, I told you those Finns would not go away against the Americans. They have tied the game at 2 apiece. And again, Finland versus USA in the quarterfinals, that just seems like a death matchup for both teams. And now with a 2-2 score with 6:42 to go in the third period of play, Sweden versus Latvia 6-3, Czechia versus Switzerland 6-2. So Slovakia versus Canada, the remaining matchup yet to start tonight as things get going here. Interestingly, against Slovakia, at least to start, I think Slovakia might give us a little bit of a scare out of the gates. Just, I'm not necessarily meaning scoring a goal, but keeping Canada off the scoreboard for 10 minutes, keeping Canada off the scoreboard for the first period. There might be some intrigue there. And now, yes, as pointed out in the chat, there's 3-2 for Finland over top of Canada now, or over top of the USA. That is an interesting turn of events for this World Juniors. As I said, if Finland eliminates the US, that is going to create chaos in the semifinal bracket. Now, mind you, I'm all here for it. Don't mind me. I love chaos at the World Juniors. Just hopefully Canada not a victim to said chaos as we continue to roll along. It's now the pop quiz on TSN here as we get closer and closer to puck drop. It is 6:20. We are 20 minutes away from puck drop between Canada and Slovakia this evening. Thank you for hanging out here on the pregame show so far. 157 of you aboard for the ride here this evening. It's been absolutely a pleasure to have you along for what has been already 51 minutes live here on the broadcast, and obviously what is going to be an interesting finish to this tournament for Canada specifically. Big matchup tonight, the semifinals, the true final test for Canada. And then the gold medal game, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be the end-all be-all for Canada. I think if you get past the semis, you should have a good shot at winning the final if you're Canada. Is just the way these matchups are going, it seems like it's going to be a crazy finish to it. And now, again, 145 votes on the poll. Slovakia has crept up in the votes here the past little bit. 14% going for Slovakia to crush the dreams of Team Canada tonight. Still 86% of you going for Canada this evening. So again, that'll tell me a lot of you tuning in from Slovakia right here, right now. Glad to have you aboard. Thanks for being here. Obviously, Canada this evening hoping to get the job done against Slovakia in a game in which you just cannot disappoint. That's the thing. You cannot disappoint for Canada. You have to come through with a result. You have to get the job done against the Slovakian team that's going to give you everything and all, plus more that they've got here this tournament. So it's win or go home for Slovakia, same for Canada. But man, oh man, the absolute determination of Slovakia coming into this game is going to be interesting to see here. As Cyclo, I will not be able to show the game again, friends. I cannot show the game because it is copyright material of TSN and the IIHF, and YouTube does not play nice with guys like me who try to steal the feed and re-upload it on YouTube. Usually ends up bare minimum a 3-month ban, if not your channel being terminated. And I'm sorry, friends. I do a little bit of World Juniors coverage every year, but what I will tell you is throughout the year, I talk about the Oilers, and the Oilers are bread and butter on this channel, and I'm not about to destroy what I've built here just simply to live stream about 10 seconds of a hockey game before YouTube bans me off for at least, if not longer, 3 months. So yeah, that's kind of the copyright situation, unfortunately. And I mean, yeah, sure, it would be great. You imagine as a YouTuber who has done this as long as I have, if I could broadcast every game on YouTube consequence free, man, I would be one of the most popular guys in the entire world. But there's a reason that nobody has done that, because there are rules and regulations around that. So that's where we're at. Art, good evening to you, as we are getting things rolling towards that 6:40 puck drop. We are 16 minutes away here this evening, as things are rolling along for the ride here tonight. And obviously, Team Canada has to get the job done against Slovakia. There's nothing guaranteed yet, and the question is, can Canada just finish off the job that they have started at this tournament by going 4-0 and at least get into a chance at a medal round game. And Jerry, the ads situation, I don't think anyone's complained about the ads so far this year, but what I will tell you about the ads situation on YouTube, about 8 months ago they made a change where I'm no longer able to control my ads. I can just kind of tell YouTube, here's what I'm hoping to see, and they try and do it apart. And unfortunately, it just kind of is what it is. The control's not exactly there anymore on a YouTuber's side, and they say it benefits us, but again, right, then you get complaints about the ads and there's nothing you can really do. So end of the day, that does kind of suck, but it is what it is. So Team Canada takes on Slovakia in 15 minutes time here at the World Juniors for the 2026 quarterfinals. And obviously, like I'm saying, it's a big time show up and show out moment for this Canadian squad here tonight. So hopefully things roll out in favor of Team Canada here this evening, as they're showcasing some stuff from Verhoff right now. Verhoff obviously on the fourth pair tonight for Team Canada. Seems crazy that the World Juniors you'd have a fourth pair, but I think Canada heavily wants to be able to have fresh legs on defense all night long. And to be honest with you, the two extra forwards for Team Canada haven't been the most effective so far at the tournament, so possibly a little bit there for Team Canada to go to the fourth pair. As right now, group of four leading scorers in group play: Tomasz Kranko for Slovakia with 8 points, Zane Prek, Gavin McKenna, and somebody else that I didn't catch. It was a Canadian though. So that's where we roll along here, friends. We are just about to that 6:30 moment as Team Canada takes on, that Slovakian side here at 6:40 puck drop. We're about an hour into the live stream. Glad to have you aboard. It's been a easy going pregame so far. I think things have just kind of rolled themselves along for the ride, and I'll be glad to have the call for you here again tonight. Is Canada, like I'm saying, I think there's a little bit of nerves on my end here where Canada hasn't necessarily disappointed. Again, that Latvia game was exactly what I expected that Latvia game would be, so fair enough, it is what it is. But tonight would be a real bad time for a disappointment if you're Team Canada, and maybe that's where the nervous energy is a little bit focused around. Dave just alerting that the game is tied between Finland and the USA with 1.5 minutes to go in the third period. Again, Finland trying to pull off what would be a massive change to the bracket, I think, in terms of the semifinal action. And ultimately, I guess they are going to probably have to go to overtime to figure out who is going to create that chaos in the bracket. Well, I guess Finland, basically, the only team that truly can is the US, I think, would be the team you'd be picking to go forward from here. But, I mean, maybe not. Maybe you're a Finnish fan, and maybe that's where you had your team the whole way along. So, stay tuned and find out, as we're about to hit the 6:30 Mark here on the stream, friends. Again, Jack Ivankovic will get the start for Team Canada this evening. Hoping for a big performance from him as well. That's kind of, Team Canada has a couple of things that they need to go get done, and a big performance from Jack Ivankovic is kind of the big part here tonight. As Ivankovic starts, again, Bear, Greentree, and Ravensburgen are the scratches here for Team Canada. Again, Ravensburgen hasn't gotten a start yet at the World Junior level. Greentree, obviously for him, a tournament game where it was maybe not the best out of Czechia, and he's kind of sat on the bench ever since, or sat in the press box ever since, I believe. And Bear as well, not being able to show up and show out in his limited time here so far. So Awake, hey, good old friend, coming back to the channel. Haven't seen him in the chat in a while, and there he is in the chat getting the job done. Great to see you. Thank you for being aboard here tonight, and you're going to spend some time at the top of the old leaderboard there, that's for sure. The old $20 dollar. Man, I don't know when the last time we saw one of those on the live stream was. Thank you again, Awake. As we get Canada going, predicting a win. Well, so too is the Slovakian player that guaranteed a win. So we'll see how those two predictions match up. But I think if you're anybody in Canada predicting a win for Canada, I think things are going to turn a little bit better for you than anybody on the Slovakian side predicting a win. Again, upsets happen in Canada. Not necessarily the best team the last 2 years at the quarterfinal level. So there is something to be said for that as well. So Aaron, good evening to you as well. So we're starting to see the stream regulars trickling in here. And what we know for the Edmonton Oilers is they play the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow at 1:30 as well. So keep that in mind as we roll along here on the live stream. Friends, we've hit the 6:30 hour. Welcome aboard. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already had a chance to hit that subscribe button, well, definitely make sure to do that here on the live stream tonight. We are below 1,080 subscribers to the big magical number of 20,000 here on YouTube, so definitely would appreciate that if you haven't done that already so far in the tournament. And what I will tell you as well, we are just 10 minutes away from puck drop now between Canada and Slovakia. That is the big thing. Chris is going for a 5-3 victory over top of Slovakia here for Canada. And I mean, that's the thing, right? Is it's kind of a game in which Canada should score a ton of goals. I really don't care what the quality of the goaltending or defending from Slovakia is. Canada should, no matter what, have the upper hand in this hockey game. Should, no matter what, be able to get the job done. The question remains, though, will they get said question done? And that's where we now await the results with just over, well, 9 minutes to go until things get going here for tonight's action. So we're rolling along on what has been a fun broadcast so far. Obviously, Team Canada looking forward to avenging the disappointment of the quarterfinals. Czechia has had themselves a couple of 2 tournaments in a row. They've advanced to the semifinals, and now the question against Canada is, can Canada get the job done this year after 2 quarterfinal losses in a row that cost them some world stage points, that's for sure. As we should not be questioning if this team can get the job done against Slovakia, but guess what? Because of the 2 losses to Czechia, and because Slovakia is bound to, line up at some point here, well, guess what? There is a moment here, at least pregame, where we have a little bit of nerves, a little bit of just nervousness across the Canadian fan base, asking, hey, there's surely no way we choke this game, is there? Yeah, let's make sure. As Canada goes for a semifinal berth here tonight against the Slovakian side. This is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard here this evening as they got Triumph, Fight the Good Fight, playing in the intro on TSN right now, as it looks like. Yes, indeed, Finland versus USA will go to overtime to decide who will advance to the semifinals. That has a game in the making for what could be an interesting finish. Scott's going 4-2 for Canada here this evening. Now, again, I think the expectation is you should see Canada at least score 4+ goals. Jack Ivankovic has allowed very few goals at this tournament so far in 2 starts. So, there's possibly, he keeps Slovakia off the board as well. So the redemption tour continues for Team Canada here this evening. Glad, like I said, to have you aboard. Let's get this let's get this going here this evening against Slovakia, Canada. Puck drop 7 minutes away. John, you've been over the loop of this lose in your out match. Yes, indeed it is. That is the case here for Team Canada this evening. Is they got to beat Slovakia to advance or they're done. Same for Slovakia. They got to beat Canada or they are done. So both teams, some national pride, definitively on the line here tonight at this year's World Juniors. It's January 2nd. We've barely begun 2026. I've barely been home during 2026. Nice to be home now and obviously back in the studio ready to call this one here this evening. So we're getting closer, like I said, to puck drop this evening. As yeah, this is where you'll be able to listen to the game, friends. This is kind of the unofficial play-by-play broadcast of tonight's World Junior matchup. Unfortunately, can't show the game due to copyright restrictions, but we'll have the play-by-play, and obviously it won't be as fun as the other night there with Mikey V and crew getting on the live stream. Even old Metcalf there dropping an F-bomb live on Dolynny TV. That doesn't happen often, and I want to say another huge shout-out at the top of your chat right now. You'd see Awake's $20 donation at the top of the chat there, so definitely thanks to Awake for hitting that button here early in the stream as we get things going. A 7-2 prediction for Mark here this evening as well. So we are going to hopefully, like I'm saying, see Canada score a ton of goals this evening against the Slovakian side, and we'll see how it pans out as Zane Parekh. If the Canadians are going to score goals, Zane Parekh's going to be one of those guys to get that job done for Canada this evening. As Canada versus Slovakia, we go back to back in 2023, the last time these teams faced off. An overtime win for Connor Bedard that fried the brains of millions of Canadians. A beautiful goal to finish things off. And as we get things going, it looks like the end of overtime one, Finland and the US are still tied, yes indeed, at 3. So we'll see how that pans out for Finland and the US as the game wears on in extra time. Again, if you haven't had a chance yet, friends, to hit that subscribe button. I want you to come back. We're closing up show here. We have maybe 2 more games after this for Canada at the World Junior level, so I'd love to have you aboard for the Oilers and the Stanley Cup run that the Edmonton Oilers are going to try and get on one more time here. Kind of similar to Florida, right? Florida's been there 3 years in a row. The Oilers are going to try and get on the Stanley Cup run here this year for the 3rd time in a row and find a way to win it. That is going to be the question, if they can do it against some very good teams in the West and some very good teams in the East as well. As we are rolling along here, who is in net for Canada? That's a great question. It is Jack Ivankovic. He is going to get the start for Canada. Ivan Kovic, sorry. I'm still calling him the way I called him last year. But for Canada, a new goaltender in net for the first time in a little while, right? It was George who got the start against Denmark, George who got the start against Finland, and now Ivan Kovic will get the start against Slovakia in a winner-take-all game. That's some faith there from the Canadian side, but Ivan Kovic's been pretty good against Latvia both years, so now a chance for him to crush off a good tournament here and push Canada forward. So that's where we continue to get things going. Gio, welcome aboard. Glad to see you in the chat here tonight. Sorry about last night, man. I don't know, my thumbs were broken on the old NHL last night. Just kind of par for the course, though. Me and video games don't tend to get along the best, as TJ wanted Carter George. As well, Carter George has been pretty good for Canada at the World Juniors the past 2 years. The problem, though, is he's really struggling with the goals against and the save percentage here at the World Juniors this year. So for him, Canada chooses to go a different direction, and that's kind of where we're at. Now, again, Awake, one last time, thank you so much. And Finland wins, according to Dave, as we're waiting for the official result there. I haven't seen anything pop up. But, yeah, hopefully that is the case. I think officially it is, if Dave's saying it. Dave's been on the trek so far in the keeping track with that game, so I'd assume we're fine. As Gio, all good fun games. I know, I get so frustrated in NHL. Playing for how many ever years? Yep, Finland has won it. But playing NHL for how many years? You'd figure you would have at some point a way to be better at the game. But there's a reason I'm not a big game athlete because my mental quickness is not the best, as you see on the live stream sometimes as well. Trying to call the game when it speeds up a little bit more than my peanut-sized brain can comprehend. Canada on the ice. We got 2:20 until puck drop here against Slovakia. Canada skating over to the blue line here. Everybody coming down the tunnel, getting ready for tonight's big matchup. Canada versus Slovakia in a game in which determines who goes on to the semis. Finland has punched their ticket to the semifinals. That is the case. Finland moves on against the United States. And that's kind of where we're at. Is Finland will go to the semifinals. So you got Czechia, Sweden, Finland. Will it be Canada or will it be Slovakia? That is what we will determine here. And obviously the stands inside Minnesota here are about to empty out dramatically. Absolutely dramatically. And as Aaron says, that means a new gold medalist is guaranteed right after 2 years straight of Canada. The U.S. has then won 2 years straight, and that's where we find ourselves now, is the U.S. is out of the tournament. So now what happens here as we go into the final 3 games, I guess final 5 games of the 2026 World Juniors, as Team Canada takes on Slovakia to close out the quarterfinals. There's 2 semifinals, and then the bronze and the gold medal game, the relegation game, done, and Denmark was relegated by Germany here at the 2026 World Juniors. Jack Ivankovic takes the net here this evening for Team Canada. The referees, Adam Tobias, Yanni Renheimo, Brian Gorkoff, and David Thuma for the lines. So here we go. We are just about set for action here tonight against Slovakia. Canada, Slovakia, 6:40 puck drop. Michael Pradel probably, in net for Slovakia against Jack Ivankovic, who had the .99 goals against average against Latvia given the overtime, and a .963, yes indeed, save percentage against Latvia. So here we go. Let's get this job going. Dale Hunter on the bench for Team Canada as Canada tries to find a way to bring home this evening's game. As Gio asking the important question, how great will Zane Perek be this evening? I love that kid. He's been absolutely money for Team Canada at this year's World Juniors. Let's do it. Puck drop between Canada and Slovakia right on the dot of 6:41. Michael Misa wins the face-off back over to Cameron Reid. Zane Prek up through the middle. Misa a million miles offside as Tisha Ginla carries on, and we have an offside with 7 seconds into the hockey game. The Canadian side will face off outside of the zone. Pradel will not have to face an offensive zone draw just quite yet, as Team Canada, like I said, got kind of discombobulated at the blue line and cost themselves an opportunity to enter the zone. As Canada wins a second straight face-off, it'll be Perek firing it on Pradel. Ginla near side with the puck. He'll try and come up with this one against the half wall. Like I said, near side, picking it up is Martone, trying to force it down. Now Martone is shot off the deflection of the skates of Kapos there for Slovakia, and we will have a stoppage and play. The save by Pradel. And Canada officially now 2 shots on net, just 24 seconds into tonight's hockey game. Big time start here for Team Canada. Again, the pressure right immediately on Slovakia is what Canada has to do right out of the gate here tonight to be effective. Face off now for Michael Hage as the second line for Canada comes across the ice. The shot by McKenna towards the net, blocked by Slovakia in front. Chopped off the boards and out into the neutral zone, tapping back into Slovakia's territory. Canada had been denied at the blue line. It'll be picked up by Brady Martin. He'll play back to Brunik, over to McKenzie in the Canadian side, back up into Slovakian territory. Quickly punched back out by the Slovaks and turned back into the Canadian end. Brunik behind his own goal line, punches it off the end wall over near side to McKenzie. McKenzie to McKenna. Far side, picking it up now, a pass to Martin from Hage, and Martin will rip it in along the end wall. To the far side it goes, as Slovakia, the first ones to it. They'll try and pick this one up in their own zone and make a play, as instead Canada forcing themselves to go for a line change. allowing Slovakia line change as well and time inside their own zone behind the net to load up the attack through the neutral zone. Down the left wing, Canadian end now. Slovakia trying to get in for the first time. That's about all they do as Canada forces them back out to the near side corner. Big hit there by Cole Baudouin along the near side corner. Slovak end is picking it up now. O'Reilly shot to the middle of the ice. Doesn't go anywhere to connect the stick till Desnoyers picks it up at the far side. And this one now picked up for Canada, fired back in by Aitchison, wrapped around the end wall once more. Slovakia so far having a little bit of a struggle getting out of their own zone effectively here against Canada. Picking it up now is Verhoff, who will have Carroll's in their first shift. Comes almost immediately into this game, only 2 minutes gone, as Slovakia bats the puck around inside their own defensive end. Now to the near side, Slovakia will turn the puck over against Coots. Coots, though, all he could do is fire it to the middle of the ice. Now back across the line comes Slovakia into Canada's end. That one a quick turn back at the side of the net there by Canada, trying to gun up the home run pass. It works out. Luchenko to the far side. Can't get the pass down to Verhoff. Verhoff just guides the puck in front. Slovakia cuts it off there, and it bounces to the near side corner as Slovakia will chip back along the wall and end up behind their own net one more time as Martone in the Canadian top line is out there and skating hard towards that puck is, of course, Perek. He just couldn't get in gear, and Slovakia, chance at the side of the net, almost ended up as Ivankovic just about mishandled that puck. Either way, it's going to turn back in the neutral zone. We're going to have a stoppage in play as Coots looks like he's shaken up on the play earlier on his last shift. And with 17:09, we'll have a stoppage in play, with Canada leading the shot department 2-0 so far here in this evening's hockey game. So a big impact start for Canada, getting the first two shots. Face off outside of the Slovakian zone with, Michael Misa taking the puck on the draw here for Canada, as it'll be a draw just outside the Canadian blue line. Bounces off a couple pairs of skates. Slovaks fire it in. Far side pass for Canada on the recovery, as it'll be Cameron Reid dishing off to Zane Perek. Back to Reid. Reid will fire in to the Slovakian end, bouncing around the boards a few times there. Slovakia is able to recover off the glass and out. Back into the neutral zone. Perek, as both teams playing this one pretty tight so far. Like I said, wouldn't be surprised to see Slovakia do the job here and create a little bit of chaos in the Canadian fan circles, at least for the first period. The puck rolling around to the far side boards. Canada able to get the turnover at the high blue line. Michael Misa, first one on it from the shot around the boards by Porter Martone. Shot on Predel. Gets saved and goes in behind the net. Slovakia able to avoid the Canadian pressure once more. We have almost played 4 minutes of this hockey game just like that. 3:45's already ticked off the clock here. 3-0 the shots on goal, the lead for Canada, as this one will be ripped in by Slovakia around the end wall. It goes to the far side corner. Brunic trying to work his man over and get the puck back into possession rather quickly here for Canada, as this puck continues to tie up. Both teams battling for it, as Slovakia unable to really do the damage, and they freed that puck up out of the fray, but it was a nice play by Ethan McKenzie side of the net to come up with it, and quickly the Canadian second line back the other way. Man, Brady Martin absorbs massive contact and somehow still gets things going for Canada, as Hayes supported McKenna back to the blue line, as McKenzie, the shot towards the net, goes wide. Now a chance for Brady Martin. He'll fire it around along the end wall, looking for Hayes. The puck bounces up top again. This weird camera angle is always the bane of my existence, as this one goes off the end wall again. Martin battling out from behind the net to the near side corner. Slovakia's zone. The shot by McKenna to the front, looking for the tip by Hayes. Doesn't connect, as that one will be ripped down along the end wall one more time by Aitchison. Coming into that puck, as this second line spends a ton of time in the zone, was Brady Martin. Gavin McKenna trying to get the steal behind the net. Right in front for Martin. The save made by Perdell, and what a save it was, as Brady Martin alone in the slot finds a shot on net from the blade of Gavin McKenna from behind the net. A great pass there again. Gavin McKenna is an incredible playmaker. It's just about finding the time and space individually to make those plays. And Gavin McKenna has been getting better as the tournament wears on at doing that here. As welcome aboard, as Finland just beat the USA in overtime. Yes, they did. And Rhyme, of course, yes, going for the thumbs up for Finland there, taking care of the former gold medal champions, as this one off the face-off. O'Reilly, a shot towards the net for Canada. And suddenly, just like that, 5 minutes in, Canada starting to dictate the pace and dictate the play here in this hockey game. This one back into the neutral zone. It'll be Canada chasing it in along their own end wall. Danford, along with the puck, helps it to the far side. Canada's zone exit thanks to Sam O'Reilly to Desnoyers to the front of the net. Oh, man, what a tip in front. Almost caught a unfriendly bounce for Slovakia into the back of their own net. And, of course, as well, helping that puck, Baudouin couldn't get that one in. As this one battling off the wall on the far side, Slovakia gets it tipped by Canada, but still in possession. They exited the zone for a brief moment, and they'll retreat for a quick little line change here as 6 minutes gone here in this one, as Slovakia rolling what has been a solid defensive effort so far, as the goaltenders come up with some big saves, but Canada so far all, if not most, of the pressure in this hockey game. Loading up now, Coots along in the middle. He'll come to the near side for Luchenko. Luchenko looking over to the far side for Perek. Perek wheels around the near side dot. Down low to Luchenko. Feet in front. Unready for it was Coots, who's okay after a tough shift last time out. Here's Perek at the high point. Perek skates past the defender. The shot ripped towards the net. Goes off a heel and out of play. And Zane Perek, his first real dangerous wind-up of the game as he looked to try and find that puck home. As man, oh man, Canada pressuring here heavy inside the first 6.5 minutes of this hockey game. Friends, I will tell you right now, I do this on a regular basis for Edmonton Oilers hockey games. We'll do it a little bit for some Toronto Blue Jays games during the summer as well. So here on Dolynny TV, stay tuned for live streams coming forward. What I want you to do is hit that subscribe button, especially as well if Canada wins the semifinals, or you know what, if Slovakia wins the semifinal or quarterfinal here today. Sorry, quarterfinal, not semifinal. Quarterfinal against Canada Sunday. Whichever game Slovakia plays, whichever game Canada plays, will be live here on Dolynny TV as well. I've had a blast so far live streaming Slovakia, so wouldn't mind doing another one right there for you. As Vojta, welcome back in. Glad to see you along for the ride again here tonight. As Canada, so far, like I'm saying, all the pressure in this hockey game thus far. They have been throwing things towards the Slovakian net, keeping pucks alive in the offensive zone. And again, it is just about avoiding the disappointment. Until Canada gets a cushy goal lead, I don't think any of us will truly breathe all too easy. Lard, welcome in. Yeah, it should be a big time showing for Canada. The problem is you still got to get that job done at the end of the day. 4-0, the lead in shots for Canada. Another offensive zone draw here with 13:31 to go in the first period of play. Slovakia wins the draw, so now we're inside the last 13:30 of this first period. Puck chasing in to the Canadian end. Slovakia comes up with it behind the Canadian net, battling off the wall. Great interference there. Great little pick, I guess, would be what that's called by Slovakia to get the puck to the point. The shot off of Ivankovic's glove, his first save of the game. As this one comes back to the blue line, it's going to go out of the zone as this will be picked up by Slovakia. Looking to wheel and deal into the Canadian end. Off the end wall, Brunic to the near side for McKenzie. McKenzie will come off the wall and turn that puck over. Canada, though, swarming the puck as Slovakia continues. This guy for Slovakia has unreal handles of that puck. There's not a Canadian that could steal it away from him until Michael Misa, the NHL player, helped double team things there as this puck across the line. Brunic gets it down in the far side corner, wrapping around the net, loading up as Martone. The shot, sharp angle, goes up off the glass and out of the zone all the way in front of the Canadian bench with 12:25 to go here in this first period of play. Reshny over to Brunic, up along the far side wall. It'll bounce off the end wall, and this will be Hage picking up the puck, but a icing call nonetheless against Canada with 12:19 to go. As you see Sweden, Czechia, Finland, and Canada, Slovakia, the remaining teams here at the World Juniors. The USA has been defeated, Switzerland has been defeated, and as well Latvia has been defeated here in this tournament. Obviously, Germany, Denmark in the relegation game, irrelevant there. So this one back to the near side, or back behind the net here as this comes back for Aitchison. Aitchison back through the middle. It'll be tipped up off a glove there by Slovakia. And it'll be a glove hand pass. Okay, so that's what they ruled it very quickly. 4-0 the shots for Canada. 12-10 in this first period here to go. So been a good hockey game thus far, and we got to make sure Canada finds a way to get to the back of the net here sooner rather than later. Just want to check officially. The shots are truly 4-0 according to the TSN website, so that is good, as this will come off the wall back into the Slovakian zone. In possession of that was Radivo Jevic. I don't know how to pronounce that one for Slovakia. I have Radovic. I think I've heard it a few times for Slovakia. He's playing at Boston College. Okay, that's why he's such a hot shot for this Slovak team. As this one across the line, Canada loading up a shot. Opportunity for Danford. Couldn't bury the shot. Now for Canada's side of the net, Hayes trying to pass it through. Can't get it through. 11:40 to go here in this first period of play as Aitchison back across to the far side. Loading up the shot through traffic. Denied there, and McKenna will pick up this puck near side and get it back to the point, but it'll be Mishiak who is able to turn it back across the line. Here's a shot loaded off of Ivan Kovic, and it'll come back out into the neutral zone. Big hit there from Brady Martin to separate man from puck, and then he promptly turns the puck over, this puck over to the far side. Slovakia now picking it up here inside Canadian zone, down the right wing, as it'll be a puck into the corner as Aitchison continues to pester, and ultimately it's Beaudoin who for Canada is able to come up with the puck, and well, that will be to the far side. It'll be tipped off of a stick into the Canadian bench, and we will have a stoppage of play here in this one as Kevin returns. And friends, it's been a good hockey game so far for the Canadian side, as Ben Danford, one of the best looks so far in this middle part of the period. 10:57 to go for Canada. They've got 5 shots on net in the hockey game, no goals to show for it, and an offensive zone face-off for Slovakia inside the Canadian end here. How crucial will this prove in this period right here, right now, is the face-off for Reshny against Tomka of Slovakia. Reshny will look to take the draw one more time here as he kind of jumped the gun, and they will drop the puck officially and re-rule. Let's go do this again, as they typically do. The face-off, obviously, to the right of Ivan Kovic. Perek having a little bit of fun jostling there. Obviously, Perek, an NHL player himself this season. 10:57 to go in this first period. We still got to re-drop this puck again, as Canada and Slovakia just having a little bit of tough go there. As JJ asking if this game is for the bronze medal. No, this game is a quarterfinal matchup. Canada, a nice play to get out of the zone. Jet Luchenko lifts ahead. Coots couldn't get to the puck. Reshny on the puck, rushing towards the net. He takes a hard fall into the end wall. Luchenko calling for the puck. He turns it over on a terrible backhand to the point, and here comes Slovakia across the Canadian line, down into the corner once more. Slovakia from that near side corner looking to battle off the wall. Some contact, heavy contact in the corner as Perek took down a man, and Perek again cross-check a little bit there in front, off the boots of Reed in front, as this will keep rolling around, and now Slovakia starts getting some chances towards the net. A block in front by Perek, and he'll slow down the game for Reshny, who has to go off for a line change here rather quickly. 4-0 the lead in shots here for Canada. Technically, I think it's 5-1 for Canada over Slovakia as they load up from behind their own net. Here's Slovakia down through the middle of the ice, near sideboards, right wing, trying to gun up and get into the Canadian end. A backhand chip, and 9:58 to go in this first period of play as Karels gets across to the far side. Slovakia backhand down low, and they are starting to figure out the gaps in coverage inside the Canadian zone here. A great play by Karels, though, just to absolutely maul his opposing player for the Slovak side. Back to the blue line. Shot on net goes into the glove of Ivan Kovic, and then he'll be taken out by one of the Slovak players, and that will draw an absolute scrum here as everybody wants a piece of the player that took down Ivan Kovic. Just kind of innocent contact, knee to the back of the knee there, into the back of the pad or whatever, as Straka gets some abuse from the Canadian players, and it looks like it might be evened up, or I don't know. Yeah, it looks like Straka's going to go to the box as well, so we'll have a 4-on-4 situation when we come back from TV timeout here at the 2026 World Juniors quarterfinal matchup between Canada and Slovakia. What I will tell you right now, friends, if you have not hit that subscribe button yet, I want you to do that. We're closing in on the final days of the World Juniors just like that, so I'd love to have you aboard for the Oilers coverage going forward this year. We're up to 18,933 subscribers. I think there's a chance that we could hit 19,000 here tonight if we all work together and work hard, and I make this an entertaining enough live stream for you. Again, to tell you, on the 392 votes we've gotten so far on the poll, 83% of you are going for Canada to win this one. 17% have Slovakia, crushing the dreams of the Dream Killers. So be interesting to see how that one goes here. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The Slovakia so far has held their own against Canada, survived the pushes that have come, and now the question is, can Canada prevent Slovakia from scoring the first goal and then themselves score a bunch of goals here quick? So can't the Ottawa Senators fan, never noticed that last time. I didn't understand what the old graphic was, but CCL, they're needing a quick goal. Yes, indeed, I agree. Canada needs to find a way to find a big-time goal. As Aaron plugging the old Dolynny TV on Facebook. Appreciate that, friends. That's one whole land that's not overly friendly to the old YouTube scene is the old Facebook land, but anytime I get a plug on Facebook, I do appreciate that as well. 4-2, the shots officially credited for Canada over Slovakia as we skate. I think 5-on-5 now is 9:32 to go here in this first period of play. Along the end wall inside the Slovakia zone, Canada clawing for that puck. Really, that's the only way to describe it. Slovakia was able to claw possession out into the neutral, kind of tip it into the Canadian end, and then this one rolled along to the near side. Reshny will pick up this puck. He'll flip up off glass and get it out into the neutral territory. Is battling this one free. It'll be fired back inside the Slovakian end as Radovic will get that puck for Slovakia. He's their big-time defender, that's for sure. This one picked up by Slovakia, gutting into the Canadian zone. Down the left wing, a shot from the outside into the stick, or into the glove, sorry, off the stick of the Slovak player, into the glove of Ivankovic. And you look at this, we go all the way back 3 years ago, I guess, technically, to 2023, which saw Milish in net for Team Canada back then. That's wild that we have seen that one. So this will be an interesting finish to the last 9 minutes of this first period. So far, the shots dead even. And all time against Slovakia, Canada is 16-0-1. That's what you need to keep in mind. 16 wins, 1 tie. It's not even 1 loss. It's 1 tie for Canada at the World Juniors against Slovakia. Off the end wall, Canada's going to wheel and deal along the near side, try and get out into the neutral to the far side. The tap onto the stick of Misa. Misa now loading up again. He fans on the shot. Oh, Tisha Ginla just can't draw that puck to the forehand enough to get a shot off as McKenzie rolling around here near side, blue line of the Canadian end. Off a tip by the Canadians. No, an icing call altogether. 8:19 to go in this first period of play. As TJ, if Canada wins against the semi-final opponent and Slovakia, and Sweden reaches the gold medal game, who do I have winning? I think I'd have Canada just simply for the Canadian bias, but that Swedish team is absolutely lights out this year, and their power play is scary. The nice part for Canada, haven't taken too many penalties at this year's tournament. Why am I drinking 3-day-old water? That doesn't make sense. Let's drink the new water. 8:19 to go. Here in this first period of play is the shot right off the draw. Save made by Ivan Kovic, who so far has been the exact right choice for Canada in this hockey game, keeping it scoreless. Near side pass for Kapos. Kapos will fire along the end wall. It'll be off the wall as Canada can't clear the zone as Slovakia once more took possession, and then Martone stole the puck away. Here's Iginla down the left wing into the Slovakian end. A pass to the middle of the ice. Porter Martone, 2 cracks at it, can't jam it home. And this one is going to be punched over into the neutral territory as Porter Martone with the most recent good chances for Canada. And Canada still can't find a way to get this going as Reed over to Perek. Perek will load up to the near side for Reed as he came around behind the net and started skating. Reed to the middle. Pass to the outside there to Michael Hage as that was a nice nifty play in the middle, I think, by Gavin McKenna to try and redirect the Slovak eyes, as this was 7.5 minutes is worked out by Slovakia into the middle of the ice. Off the near side wall, Reed's trying to free this one out. It'll be backhanded by Slovakia into their own zone. Chasing there is Hage, trying to keep this puck alive for Canada in the offensive zone. And this will be a battle here near side. It'll be worked there off the wall. Slovakia is still trying to tap this out. They on 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe it might take 7 here. There's been a lot of tries here from Slovakia to exit the zone, and Brady Martin might have just turned this puck over for Canada. He did. Gavin McKenna loads up Hage over to Brady Martin, back again now to Verhoff. The shot through traffic. Rebound in front of the crease. Slovakia under pressure, able to bounce it off the boards to Verhoff, who with that long reach gets it back into the Slovakian zone without the clear. And finally off glass and out into center ice. Carroll's is the one that does the honors of firing it back in for Canada with 6.5 to go. Slovakia at center ice here, across into the left wing portion of the Canadian zone, far side off the wall, end wall that is. It'll be Sam O'Reilly picking up the puck as Canada suddenly, again, just as they did right out of the gates here, starting to take control of this hockey game with hot and heavy pressure. Back into the slot, the shot, save made, scores! Canada in that scramble somewhere found a puck, and it's Cole Reshny finding the back of the net for Canada to put us up 1-0 just like that. There you have it. As Art said, keep on firing. Sooner or later, one's got to go in. And that's the case here for Canada. A couple of solid plays in the neutral zone to keep things going. And the lead becomes 1-0 Canada as Reshny on the top of the paint, off the pad of Pradel, gets the puck into the back of the net. And you look at that, great work by Reshny to skirt around the blue paint. And even though he touched the pad of Pradel, it's outside of the blue paint, so no big, no harm, no foul there. And Canada finds the back of the net to take the 1-0 lead, and I can tell there's some folks excited about that, as the live stream just peaked in viewers by 25 extra. So I'm assuming some friends are excited to see Canada take that 1-0 lead and try and find a way to tune into this one. While Dolynny TV might not have the best play-by-play, but I got you for the full game through as Aitchison back into the neutral zone. It'll be off the blue line, picked up by Martone on a little bit of hard work there in the Slovak zone. A great play off the Slovaks, is able to clear back into the Canadian end. Cole Reshny from Verhoff and Beaudoin, as yes, Verhoff is starting to have himself one heck of an effective tournament. This puck gunned up through the middle off the tape of Tija Ginla. And you know, for the first line not getting the goal to start the game, they've been effective at getting pressure on Slovakia heavily here in this first period, and all 4 Canadian lines rolling inside the offensive zone at one time or another. And that one a different look for Canada as Reshny skirts up with Beaudoin and O'Reilly instead of having Desnoyers up there, and it ends up paying off dividends as Reshny finds the back of the net. The Canadian third line was a hot spot in that game against Finland. Off the draw here, Canada able to bounce it off the end wall. Danford underskates the puck. He'll, however, be able to tap it out into neutral zone territory as Canada across the blue line here. Ginla safely onside towards the net. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a shot from Tija Ginla to make it 2-0. That was absolutely corner picking unreal from Tija Ginla, and Canada jumps out to that 2-0 lead. And now you have the feeling the offense is coming from the Canadian side. What a play here at the blue line by Canada. Porter Martone keeps it onside, and then Tija Ginla. That is why he is there. It has taken a long while for him to look 100% comfortable here at this year's tournament. A walk down the left wing to the face-off dot, and an absolute snipe job show to get up 2-0 as Tija Ginla goes to that top glove hand corner on Pradel and finds the back of the net. And oh yeah, Iggy is fired up about that one. His boy finding the back of the net to get the job done. 2-0 for Canada as Tej finds an absolute big goal, as this one will be Reshny off the draw for Brunik. Brunik will fire up to the near side. It'll be tipped in by Luchenko, I believe. No, again, camera angle fools me. And we'll have a stoppage on play with 5:11 to go here in this first period of play as Canada finds themselves up 2-0. Jerome Ginla, a proud dad in this game. He's been a proud dad at this tournament so far, if you watch that interview with James Duthie. So it's been a fantastic tournament thus far, and now up 2-0. Tisha Ginla's latest snipe. Canada just has to keep doing what they're doing. 9 shots, get this period finished up with about 14. Canada should be able to skate a 2-0 lead into the first intermission again. Keep attacking. That's the number one thing here in this game, is this is worked out to the blue line in the Canadian zone, and then it bounces into the Canadian bench off of a Slovakian player. We'll take a TV timeout. Mug, welcome aboard. Is loving seeing everybody celebrating the goals and the goal scoring for Canada. Friends, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, I'm not the best at reacting to goals unless it's the Edmonton Oilers, but I will tell you, very excited to see Canada jump out to this lead here tonight. So would love to have you join in for the Edmonton Oilers live streams. The Oilers looking to go towards the Stanley Cup Finals this year, and as well, we might have a something called the Olympics coming up at the start of February that might be of interest for everybody to keep up to date with as well. So, Bay, welcome in. Good to see you again. And Dan, who won the Finland-US game? That was Finland that won, actually. So that's a big-time victory there for the Finnish side as we closed up shop on the 6 o'clock hour. Now we're along for the ride here in what is our number 3 unofficially a live stream. We went through the 5 o'clock hour a little bit, 6 o'clock hour a little bit, full way through, and now we're 9 minutes into 7 as we get things rolling here this evening, as it should be absolutely phenomenal to see Canada finish up this period. It looks like we're going to ride a lead into the intermission given the way Canada's playing, and they are playing exactly how they have to play here in this one. So now the question is, will they get it done? We'll see. Face off to the right of Ivan Kovic. Face off down. One back by Slovakia. The faked slap shot off the draw ends up going in the near side corner for Belisko. Belisko will see Mishiak lose the battle alongside him. And here's Hage coming back the other way for Canada, leaving it for McKenna. He couldn't skate into that puck effectively enough. Now loading up is Brunick. Brunick looking towards the net. A shot on, and it bounces off of Pradel. And somehow they keep it on side, does Canada. Martin to the far side. It'll bounce over to the zone this time on a heck of a heavy shot there from, Martin trying to go across ice. Hage onside. Shot towards the net. Bounces. Rebound to Martin. It'll be McKenna near side coming to the puck. He's swallowed up by the Slovakians. 4:20 remaining for those of you who celebrate here in the first period of play. Brunick to the far side. Tomka gets drilled there, but it's Brunick who ends up taking the worst of the contact, and this will be picked up back into the middle of the ice. Slovakia sees this one backhanded in to the Canadian end. McKenzie with the puck. He'll fire up towards the middle of the ice. It'll be turned back there instead. Bounce around, and here's Misa with the puck for Canada. Misa across the line. He'll chip to the far side wall for himself. Back to the blue line. Perek down low to Misa again. Misa rolling right through the middle. The shot fired through traffic. Misa scores! Back of the net, Canada. 3-0 lead just like that. Danny, are you at the game or what? Way ahead of things here, as my goodness, statement game for Canada's CCL saying Canada up 3-0 on 10 shots, 3:49 to go here. And I was talking up Slovakia, and now it's starting to look bad on my end, but I'm telling you, Canada needed this desperately, and what they are getting here and now is exactly what they needed from start to finish in this tournament. And what a time for it as Misa fires a shot, the NHL player, through traffic. He's seen some shots like that this year at the NHL level, so you love to see it, as it is fantastic. And Brando, Canada scored all 3 goals even strength here in this quarterfinal against Slovakia, by the way. So just saying. As watching it live on Swedish TV. Okay, there we go. Danny's got us dealt with the Swedish TV, and we got a goaltending change for Slovakia. Ellen Landek, who I believe he was the goalie that played against Sweden in the opening game of the tournament. So he's a pretty good goaltender. Canada's going to be in tough here. Maybe the ace kept on the bench just in case of this very exact situation for Slovakia as Lendak comes in. The face-off one back by Canada. They're going to try and work this one off the end wall with 3:44 to go here in this first period of play. Tipped up through the neutral off a stick of a Slovakian player. Bounced back into the neutral. Here's Slovakia coming down the right wing. Shot worked back in. Michael Misa from Zane Prek and Ethan McKenzie. That's your goal-scoring combo here to begin this first period's third goal. As Braden Coots off the wall, trying to work over with Luchenko and Reshny. Reshny, one of the goal scorers as well. Tisha Ginla, the other one, as this one bounces up off of a player into the neutral zone, and I think that is going to be whistled as a glove pass. So we'll see how this goes. As Oakville, Ontario, Michael Misa, San Jose Shark, 2025 first-round pick, second overall by the San Jose Sharks this past draft. As this one, see how it goes. Daryl cheering for Canada as well. We'll have the face-off around behind the net. Here now is Desnoyers for Canada. Back to the blue line. Carroll's the shot through traffic. Rebound. O'Reilly back in the net. Canada takes a 4-0 lead. Just like that. What a shot from Carroll's. What a rebound by Sam O'Reilly. And friends, I think this game, safe to say, within the next 2 goals is likely over. And I don't know if Canada's going to wait until the end of the first to get them. Slovakia, I am so sorry that this is the game that Canada chose to roll on and roll out the offense. But it's 4-0 Canada here in this first period of play. What an absolute ride this is. As Mr. Doom, fantastic game so far. Glad to see you. And Derek yelling let's go in the chat as well. This has been a fun one so far for Canada. Sam O'Reilly, like I said, the rebound off of the shot from the point by Carrolls to the back of the net by Sam O'Reilly, and so far so good. Every single change Canada has made this game is rocking and rolling here for Canada. 12 shots, 4 goals, 2:57 to go in this first period of play. Pucks won back by Slovakia. Slovakia will fire up through the middle of the ice. They've got a Marshall break. Big time save by Ivan Kovic. And the rebound swallowed up again. Shot out of play off the tape of Carroll's. And we will have a stoppage and play with 2:46 to go here. Brian, glad to see you in the chat here tonight. As I'm hoping it's Canada's year mug, but this was a fantastic effort so far in this first period through the first basically 18 minutes. And Slovakia with their best 3 or 4 chances of the game. A strong stick by Carroll. As Carroll's, I guess, as he got that puck deflected. 2:46 to go here in this first period of play as McKenna will tap it out into the neutral zone. It'll be bouncing around the blue line area. Canada's, Sam O'Reilly, Carroll's, and Desnoyers with the points on that goal for Canada. And Sam O'Reilly having himself all of a sudden a decent little tournament for being an ex-Oilers prospect as the man he was traded for, Ike Howard, comes back up to the NHL for the Oilers here tomorrow. This one picked up by Martin in the neutral zone. Martin guiding in. He'll go towards the net, then in behind as he'll carry forward for Canada. Spinning off the wall, Martin tried to get that one to the front. It was deflected away and then kicked at the blue line to keep onside was Danford. And Slovakia is able to bounce into the Canadian end as picking it up was Aitchison. A good play over to Danford. There's a penalty coming up against Slovakia here with a $1:54 to go. And that's, exactly what you don't want to see after 4 even strength goals for Canada. They are now headed to the power play to try and bury Slovakia for the final nail in the coffin here. The shot loading for Prek through traffic. Rebound in front. The shot. What a denial by Lendak at the side of the net. Down and out. And we will have the penalty here as Slovakia takes the puck away at long last. So this is absolutely... wow. Fantastic. Great first period, but great action at the side of the net there, and Lendak with a huge save to keep it 4-0 with the delayed penalty against. And I guess it's a high stick on Aitchison there. You know what? That is a call, but tough for Slovakia to take that at this juncture of the game. And absolute. Oh, it wasn't Lendak with the save. It was Canada putting off the post there as Danny, definitely, if you don't want to spoil it, that'd be great. But I really can't control the chat, and I'm not here to ban anyone for being 5-10 seconds ahead of me, as I know no matter what, I'm going to end up being delayed on the stream back to you guys. What I see in real time is still 40 seconds from what you see live of me. Is this one Perek off to the far side for McKenna. The power play gets underway here. The shot to the far side. Back over to the far side. McKenna getting towards the net. He's going to try and roof job it. He can't do it, and it comes down near side for Hage. Hage with the puck just off the face-off dot along the wall. Hage looking into the corner for McKenna. Back to the blue line for Perek. Over to Hage, looking to tee up the one-timer for McKenna. He's going to rip the shot instead, and it'll bounce around off the boards. Back to Perek, high point, far side. Perek with the smooth skating, the shot through traffic, kicked aside. McKenna back at the far side, blue line, down low. Now loading up Reshny, who's been an effective piece of this top power play unit. The shot towards the net by McKenna, and it'll be cleared out by Slovakia. Back to the far side boards, back to the blue line here near side, as it'll be Hage. Back around near side, Hage to the blue line. Perek over now for Hage to the middle of the ice. McKenna will see it bounce off, and he'll collect in the corner. Now back to the blue line area for Canada for Perek, as they're just looking for that perfect shot. It has to be perfect now for Canada to take a shot on net. That one dribbles through traffic, but there was a lane now, as this puck will load up back to the blue line for McKenna. McKenna over to Hage. Canada just killing clock here on the power play. Back near side shot. Brady Martin scores. Passing play. Hage, McKenna, Martin, backdoor, back of the net. It is 5-0 Canada. And just like that, they're running up the score here as, fantastic effort on that power play. Again, Canada was determined on that power play. Unless they could just slam it to the back of the net, they weren't really going to take too many shots. And just really methodical there, kind of working, I think, really on the power play, more or less. As you look at the movement there was some set to that, as Hage over to McKenna, backdoor to Martin, who finds the back of the net for Canada to make it 5-0. And just like that, you love to see it for Canada as they continue things here in this one. Rolling on now to a 5-0 lead. And this is where, on my side, I have to temper down the excitement on the goals. But when they're as pretty as that for Canada, come on now. That's absolutely fantastic to see. You love to see Canada scoring pretty goals. And that will do it, friends, for the first period of play. We have got a lot, and I mean a lot, to recap for this Canadian side after one period of play. Canada coming up with an incredible effort here in this first period, what has been an absolute blast of a first period, in fact. And let's go quickly recap it here for Canada after one period of play. Cole Reshny from Keaton Verhoff and Cole Baudouin was the first goal of the game. Tisha Ginla from Porter Martone the second. Michael Misa from Zane Perek and Ethan McKenzie the third. Sam O'Reilly from Carson Carrolls and Caleb Denoye the fourth goal. And then Brady Martin from Gavin McKenna and Michael Hage, the fifth goal. What a night it is. Canada's up 5-0. Cannot wait to see how things pan out the rest of the way home. I do want to give another shout out. Again, if you've been with me for a long while, you saw a wake in the chat there. Throw down $20. Appreciate that in chat so much. Again, this is a lot of fun, honestly, doing this. And I appreciate when you guys have a lot of fun alongside me. So, and support my fun adventures. So we will get back to going here for the second period in a short matter of time. Again, if you haven't had a chance yet to hit that subscribe button, would love to have you do that. We're closing in now on the last, 1,000+ subscribers to go to 20,000. So if you could hit that subscribe button, greatly appreciate it. I'll be back in about 5 minutes time. Just going to go grab a quick cup of noodles and get things going for this second intermission in a matter of a few moments. Man, oh man. That's what you love to see. Chicken and noodles. Good night of food. Anyway, what do we know out of this Canadian squad here tonight? It is 5-0 over top of Slovakia. We're 2 hours into the live stream, and Canada has done some absolutely good work here, scoring a bunch of goals and basically erasing. You know, we might have had our doubts about if Canada was going to win this game just simply because of the disappointment of the past 2 years against Czechia in the quarterfinals. Now the question is, our doubts are, well, what will the score be? It will not be a question of winning, at least not the way that first period looked. I caution, things always can fall apart at the World Junior level, but the way that first period looked and the way Canada has played the rest of the tournament, I think it's safe to say now it's just a question of what will tonight's final score between Slovakia and Canada be by night's end. And you know what? On a Friday night to start the new year, not bad. Looking forward to getting out and partying tonight, hopefully as well. See how things line up for what should be a fun one this evening as things continue on the weekend plans. Obviously, as far as we know, Canada should have the 6:30 game on Sunday for the semifinals. They've kind of been gifted the 6:30 game every single game so far this tournament, except for the one, of course, in which they have to go out there and play against Latvia. But that's besides the point. Neither here nor there. Dave, good to see you happy. That's what I'm saying in the chat there. So hopefully, as Niviak says, hopefully just like the gold medal game, hopefully. Well, I mean, I don't know, right? I guess depending how the bracket works, I think it'll be Canada versus Czechia in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. And then Sweden versus Finland in the semifinals. So all hell could still yet break loose here in this one for all four teams left standing. Now again, caution, Slovakia is still standing. Anything can still happen. There's 2 periods of hockey to play, but the way Canada's playing, it looks like they're going to take control of this one and just get the job done against Slovakia here tonight, thankfully. You know what? They left no doubt after one. That's a nice place to be instead of, tied with Slovakia and being like, we can't finish our chances. Their goalie's really good. Oh boy, this could be dangerous. So, do I have a noodle hanging from the stash? Oh, I have to take a look here on the camera. I think we're good. I think it's just the ends of the old mustache there. I kind of shaved this down into a half handlebar situation. A little goofy actually. And whatever, it is kind of what it is. That said, Monique, thank you for the comments. Obviously, I know that for most of you, if you've hung out during this first period and you can't watch the game and stuff, this isn't where any of us want to be at the end of the day, right? For me, I'd love to be in the booth actually calling the game. Now, again, my career path kind of took me some different ways. That said, for you, you'd love to just be watching the game and listening to Gordon Miller and Mike Johnson. Unfortunately, your life situations kind of took you in a different path tonight. So, what I will say, if you're sitting at home, being a bum, not necessarily being a bum, but being a bum, and you want to watch the game, get dressed, get outside, get in the car, go to the bar. I know money's tight, but you can always have a cup of pop and an appetizer there at the bar and get that going. So that would definitely be my play for you if you're looking to watch the game and you're sitting at home watching this and saying, man, I wish I could watch. So that is where we're at. Is Dave coming in with the big question here. Am I going to go to the World Juniors in Edmonton or Red Deer? I think in one of the live chats here earlier on, I think it was Sweden-Slovakia maybe, or that same day against Czechia for Canada. I think we were talking about a bunch of us Southern Albertans here on the channel meeting up in Red Deer, and Canada won't be there, but we'll go watch a game and at least make sure the southern portion of the tournament at least gets a little bit of love. You know how much has been made about the situation with the Americans filling up the bowl in both Minneapolis and St. Paul this year, so we'll see how this goes. Going to be interesting if Canada is going to save their energy from now here. Danny, that's true. Really, I guess, how in control can Canada be defensively if they're not in control offensively? And that's where, I guess, Ivankovic's got you back there, right? He's going to get some saves for you. The question now is, can Canada score a couple enough goals to just do the job where, you score one every 10 minutes and you end up winning 9-0, 9-1, and the game's never, ever in doubt. That would be the most preferable outcome for me personally here with this Canadian squad here tonight. So it's the end of one, 5-0 for Canada. What I need to tell you right now is the goal scorers. Reshny, Aginla, Misa, O'Reilly, Martin on the power play. So I know there's been a lot made of some fans not liking Canada getting as many power plays as they have this year. Again, I would caution you, Canada was terrible at the power plays the last 2 years, it feels like. So to see them clipping along at 60% is awesome. That said, only one power play goal here in the first period rout of Slovakia so far. And nice to see almost, well, basically a different combo on every single goal scored for Team Canada here tonight. Actually, nobody has 2 points in this one, and we have 5 different goals scored. So, nifty little situation brewing here for Canada this evening. So, we'll see how it goes. We'll see Milko there going for Sweden and Finland tonight, or in this tournament. Finland was a really interesting team for Canada to play. I mean, what would the results be with Finland with Ivan Kovic in net for Canada as opposed to Carter George? Better, worse, somewhere in the same? So that would be, kind of what we're going to ask there, possibly if we meet up with Finland again. And I think as well, what you'd have to realize here for Canada is from a pure standpoint of, the question being, can you roll into a semifinal off a big lopsided victory, play a tight game, and still win? That's going to be what we have to go. So, as Pedro there's saying, Slovakian side might have expected to lose, but 5-0. Yeah, that's a tough place to be if you're Slovakia here after this one. And Dave wondering if there's a Slovak version of the squirrel suit. That's a big question as well. I mean, who would know? But I'm sure somebody out there on YouTube probably does some kind of outfit there sometimes when it comes to Slovakian hockey. I wonder, is it Ljubljana? I think it's Ljubljana has a hockey team, and big fan of them. Played with them in the NHL franchise modes a few times, but I'd be surprised if they didn't have somebody like me talking about them on YouTube. As things, James says, looking good for Canada. Yes, indeed they are. And Robert saying USA is knocked out. Yes, they are. So, interesting day at the tournament, the quarterfinals, proving awesome so far. And see what happens here for Canada as this game carries on. Again, it's a question of how much do you win by versus if you win this game now here at this point. And Paul, Canada all the way, going for Canada. Hey, I like that. I like the Canadian contingent coming alive in the live stream here tonight as we get closer and closer to this, the second period getting underway here between Canada and Slovakia. Again, friends, I will appeal to you right now as we get some time to sit down and chat. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, it's pretty much all we do here on the channel, usually about the Oilers. We do have the Olympics coming up, so there will be more Canadian talk, don't you worry, but would love to have you aboard here for 2026, as the goal is to hit 20,000 subscribers this year. As I stammered over that, but it's 20,000, and right now we're currently locked in at 18,953, so 47 away from 19,000 and only 1,000 away to go. As Paul doesn't believe that Paul's wife doesn't believe that he's chatting. Can you tell her that I am? Paul's wife. Paul's chatting away here on the live stream, having a good time with us, supporting Canada, and obviously looking to see if we can get the job done here in this second period against Slovakia. And I mean, this job done is kind of just rein it back a little bit. The goal scoring, you don't need to win 16-0. There is no point to prove here to win this game 16-0. It's just a matter of, like I said, score a goal every 10 minutes, slow roll the defense, make it a real boring game the rest of the way. Not like, other than the Canadian fans, anyone in the stands is really going to care to watch the game the rest of the way here, right? Again, caution to the fact that the World Juniors are kind of a game of Who knows what's going to happen. But 5-0 Canada over Slovakia. That should, by almost 98.9.6% of the definition, be 100% safe. So, Zay and Zo, welcome aboard. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Only been 2 years, but hey, I appreciate you hanging on. It's all good as we get things going here for the second period. Brady Martin as well, the latest goal scorer, and Sweden is the best team in the tournament. I agree. They won the round robin. They beat Latvia today 6-3. They're off to the semifinals, and as long as Sweden avoids and I remember back in the day when Canada faced Sweden a few times in the gold medal games, that's kind of what happened. So as long as Sweden avoids the classic mistakes, we should be good to go. So yeah, we should be rocking for what should be a good one here to finish out this tournament. We got 4 more games after this one tonight, the 5th game that was remaining, and it is underway here this evening. As I'm enjoying the beverages a little bit too much here in this first period, or at least joking about it as we get things rolling here. Let's get this rolling into this one. Let's do it. Cameron Reid with the puck off the face-off for Canada. Zane Parekh with the puck inside his own zone. He'll turn up on the right wing. Hooked there on the play. I don't think the officials are going to call a play on that one. I think it's fine and dandy for Canada to kind of take some... No, the officials, they do still care. Never mind. I thought by the look of Zane Parekh, he's like, hey, it's fine, whatever. But I guess it was maybe a little bit of irritation for that stick staying in the midsection as long as it did. 17 seconds into this second period, Slovakia has taken their second penalty of the game, and this was ultimately, as I said last time out, the undoing for Slovakia against Sweden was starting to take the penalties. So Canada, again, I think what you'll expect on this power play is a heck of a lot of passing to try and find the back of the net and get the job done with the best goal possible here in this one. Is this back to the blue line, near side, Parekh to McKenna, over far side, pass into the middle, short side for Brady Martin again. Couldn't find it, and a bounce back into the near side of the blue line around the Canadian zone. Slovakia twisting this one along the end wall. As a great play there by Dvorak to try and get that one down low into the Canadian zone and kill time. Reshny fishes it out of the corner, however, and Parekh will start away with 19:10 to go here in this second period of play. The nice part is this clock should keep rolling for Canada pretty much on this power play, so we'll eliminate almost 2 minutes right out of the gate of this second period just like that, so that's good news, as Gavin McKenna has not scored yet in this game. Will he score here on this power play as Hayes over to the far side, right in front. Again, the shot queued up for Brady Martin. Can't do it. He'll tip it back behind the net for Hayes. Back to the blue line for Parekh. Back to Hayes. Hayes to Parekh. High point. Over to Hayes. The one-timer off the glove. Save, rebound. And it will go up and out of play as Lendek, a big save there. Now up to 17 shots on the game is Team Canada. 53 seconds remaining in the power play as that one queued up, and Brady Martin just at the side of the net clubbed it wide. It's been a fun one so far. Canada at least looking like the world superpower they are and putting the puck around the zone as you would. But with 53 seconds to go, we'll have a different unit out there as Martone, Iginla, Misa, and Luchenko out there for Canada. As Misa off the wall will tap it along the end wall to Iginla. Iginla looking to get this going. It'll be fired off and out to the near side for Misa. Misa will go off the end wall corner. He's trying to battle this one free. Slovakia fires it down the length of the ice. That will kill about 10 seconds of the power play here. 30 seconds remaining for Canada as this one off the end wall, picking up a Canada for Luchenko. He'll bat it into the neutral zone. Martone across the line for Misa over to Luchenko in on net. Backhander denied by Lendak. What a save. Now to the near side. Martone loads up the shot off a body of a Slovakian player in front. And the Slovaks survived the push by Canada. 8 seconds to go in the power play with 17:51 to go in the period here. Wow. What a couple of chances there for Canada. Let me tell you. Ooh. Water down the wrong tube, or else I was severely dehydrated on that one. Face off one back by Canada here. It's going to be worked back to the blue line. Aitchison, far side, power plays over. Aitchison, the one-timer, off the post. Rebound, Lendak, the save again. Covers up the puck in full snow angel mode. And Lendak suddenly coming up huge for the Slovakian side. And again, keeping it respectable. I would believe is the goal here for Slovakia to end this hockey game. The shot off the post just through traffic. Beauty of a shot there from Canada. Just that close to finding the back of the net. And Lendak just flops backside on it. Gets the puck covered. And for him, another big save. Or at least a whistle here in the second period. As the Slovakian side, they're having themselves a little bit of a struggle to get going here in this second period, similar to that first period, as it's 2.5 minutes gone in this second period, and Slovakia still finds themselves down 5-0, still only 6 shots on net. Off the end wall, steered away by Lendak there off the end wall, and it looks like we will have a stoppage on play as Canada offside on this play. I'm not sure which. 17-17 to go in this second period play. Okay, that's good to hear. As Bob, Sweden is unbeaten. Yes, that they are. 5-0, the lead for Canada, and some gorgeous, I mean absolutely beautiful goals to score in the game of hockey for Canada here in this one. Face off inside the neutral zone. As I said, the statistic in that first period is there's 5 goals, not a single 2-point scorer in the game for Canada, meaning 14 different players got points in that first period for Canada. That's not a bad night when you've only got 20 skaters up front. This one off the end wall, picking it up now. Or I guess, yeah, 20 skaters. 12 forwards, 8 defensemen. Off the end wall, Canada will pick this for Brunick. Brunick will go up out of play off a touch, and we will have a stoppage of play as we have a little bit of pushing and shoving there for a brief second as Desnoyers kind of took a shot at a Slovakian player, and we'll have a stoppage with 16:56 to go in what is going to be a crucial finish to this one for Canada. Just again, right? Don't overdo it, but also make sure you're keeping and building your game towards the semifinals. Don't lose that magic touch that first period and the game against Finland had. That'll make you competitive against whoever you face, likely Czechia, maybe Finland, in the next go of this medal round. As Ark's calling a Sweden-Canada finale, that does appear to be the case, but we still got to get through the semifinals. As this one's going to come off the wall now. Reshny inside his own zone, dribbled out into the neutral zone. Skating forward is Luchenko with a burst of speed in on net. Lendak, another pad save, denies Luchenko. And man, I'm a big fan of this Lendak guy for Slovakia. As that one off of Lendak again, behind the net, coming now to Luchenko. It'll be picked up by Verhoff. Verhoff to Luchenko as he wheels around the top of the zone. Luchenko from distance, looking the shot, loading the save made. Reshny will come up with the puck back to the high point over to the near side. Verhoff towards the net, save made again. And this will be Coots picking it up. Coots wheeling and dealing around the zone as Canada imposing their will to start this first 4 minutes of the second period. Shot from Coots from distance, blocked in front. That hit Luchenko, I'm pretty sure, and be bounced off the glass into the neutral zone. We're done the first 4 minutes. Picked up, fired back the other way, tipped out of the zone, loading to the far side. Verhoff couldn't connect with McKenna, and it'll be the Slovakian side picking it up inside their own territory. As we have a quick ad on the old scoreboard here, it'll be worked by Slovakia to the far side, loading into that far side corner. Slovakia out in front, and nothing dangerous happening here. Canada maybe a turnover in front. No, Hage able to skate it out into the neutral, and now McKenna a step behind that puck as he tapped it in here. Around to the near side, will be rolled to the blue line, out into the neutral, and down the length of the ice all the way to Ivan Kovic. No icing on the play against Slovakia. We got about 5 minutes to go here in this one as it'll be picking up Perek. Perek through the neutral zone. He'll fire near side around to the far side, and off the end wall it'll be picked up by Gavin McKenna in the corner. This one fired back off the blue line. And out by Slovakia, Reed chasing into his own zone, and this is exactly what you have to look forward to. Back and forth, but how about a breakaway for Iginla in on net? Shot denied by Lendak twice! Misa himself denied a second time on the rebound from Iginla, and oh my goodness, Lendak is single-handedly trying to turn the tide for Slovakia here. You love to see it. And it's been a good one here so far. So it's been a hockey game here this evening. So absolutely, Paul, hey, glad to hear you're in Cancun enjoying the hockey game tonight. I know a lot of folks that have been down to Mexico and been unable to watch the World Juniors personally, not just talking in the live chat. So glad to be of service to you this evening. As here we go, 5-0, 24-6 the shots on goal. Misa the face-off, lost back to the Slovakians inside their territory. Along the wall, Martone to the middle of the ice to Misa. The shot through traffic off of Lendak, denied again. Cleared out by Slovakia to the blue line. Danford keeps it alive. Aginla, high point. Aginla looking through traffic. He'll go down to the near side dot for Misa. Misa skates to the front of the net. The shot again denied from the high slot. And oh my goodness, this has been fantastic hockey here. Canada, all kinds of pressure, all kinds of angles, all kinds of looks. And Lendak is just standing tall here in net, similar to what he did against Sweden earlier on in that game. As the game wore on, it got worse for him, but he is feeling it now. 14-10 to go here in this second period of play. Canada keeping things alive in the offensive zone with a turnover for Martone. To the far side, Desnoyers picks up the puck. He's got Baudouin out there with him alongside Martone. The captain back up to the slot area for Baudouin. It's stolen off his stick and cleared to the point by Slovakia. Aitchison, high point to Brunic. Brunic fans on the pass. Canada's been guilty of that a few times tonight. And this one goes back down low off the end wall. Slovakia clearing out into the neutral zone, tipped away. And Canada will pick this one up by the blue line near side. Baudouin across the line. He kind of tangled it up there. Slovakia is kind of trying to dig it free as well. And it'll be tapped onto the tape of Sam O'Reilly. Far side for Desnoyers, who loads up the shot. Oh man, off the shoulder arm. This time a Lendak, who continues now on 26 shots. Canada's only got 5 goals. Crazy to think once upon a time it was 4 on 12. Shot through traffic. Again goes far wide of the net on the far corner, high over. And this one into the corner there now as this battling along the wall. McKenzie all the way down, pinched into the corner. Forward covering the high point for him. I believe that would be O'Reilly. And picking it up now. A nice play by Slovakia to force it out of the corner and go for a line change. 12:50 to go here in this one. Is oh my goodness, things are rolling here for this squad. Is across to the far side, loading up now to the backhand. Slovakia's first grade A+ chance of the game. And my goodness, Jack Ivankovic stands tall in net, doesn't flinch on the first real dangerous chance. And what a backhand there to the middle of the ice, and beaten to the middle there was Brunic by Surchek, and a save made by Ivankovic. Like I said, probably the first shot of the game of the second period for Slovakia. So a big time save there for Ivankovic as we get things going as Canada is rolling here this evening, friends. It's been a good hockey game thus far. It remains 5-0, so nobody's to complain about what Canada's done so far in this one. The second period, they've piled on the shots, they've piled on the attempts. Lendak is having himself a second period to remember here, so you'll love to see it. And we'll see now how this finishes up. As I want to say again, friends, if you haven't had a chance yet to hit that subscribe button, I know we've been rolling a bunch of you up into the subscriber ranks here tonight, and I want you to hit that subscribe button again tomorrow. I'm not going to promise it near as hard as I did the Battle of Alberta. Again, 2 streams in one day and then doing another stream the next day. I kind of just killed my mojo, but what I will tell you is tomorrow I'm hoping to go live for the Oilers versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Would love to have you aboard for that hockey game, so definitely hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for some Oilers and Blue Jays news. I know maybe as a Canadian hockey fan, probably don't want to subscribe for Oilers news. We are a minority fan base here in Canada, but a Blue Jays fan base, that's nationwide, baby. So definitely you might want to hit the subscribe button for Blue Jays news as it happens. Here's Ivankovic facing a defensive zone draw for I don't even remember the last time we had a defensive zone draw. Like I said, peanut-sized brain, not good at very many things. This one's going to be fired out into the neutral zone, fired off of a stick and skating into the Slovak end. It'll be Slovakia getting out clear into the neutral and across the Canadian blue line, rather unclean. And now Slovakia again, another attempt to the near side. Mishiek's going to fire it across the line, and that a broken fluttering puck throws Slovakia offside. And Jack Ivankovic from Mississauga, Ontario, of the University of Michigan squad, 2025 second round, 58th overall by Nashville. You know, when Saros is gone, you better betcha Ivankovic's going to be one of those key figures in the Nashville net. As, well, you see, McDavid the GOAT. Well, McDavid is having himself one heck of a season here, that's for sure. Face off. Inside the neutral zone, Hayes, outside his own blue line, able to get back to Danford. Danford over to Aitchison, gunned up the middle of the ice and turned over to Slovakia. Nice pick of the pocket there by Hayes. He'll load up Martin on the right wing, wheeling and dealing towards the net, and Lendak baits him into trying to push it to the far side. Instead, Martin tries to fake it to the near side. Shot on net was denied. Slovakia gets it out into the neutral and then just dumps into the Canadian side as they had a man offside. This one picking up behind the net, Danford with the puck. He'll go over to Aitchison. And this is, well, 27 shots now for Canada, 5 goals. So you talk about it, 4 goals on 12 shots. That accumulates to 1 goal on 15 shots in the last 15 for Canada. This one off a boot in front. Slovakia rolling around the net. That'll be Martin able to clear out into the neutral zone for Canada this time. Loading up McKenna down the right wing. He'll shoot. Denied by Slovakia, who have just geared up another 2 or 3 gears in this hockey game, just given the way their goaltender is playing, and, you know, kind of getting the puck into the offensive zone a little bit more. Backhand spin by Hayes. The rebound goes wide of the net. Canada, a wide open net backdoor on the pass off the rebound, and Martin, I think, missed that net completely. Oh my goodness, the pressure here from Canada tonight has been absolutely unbelievable. Possibly, oh wow, just an unreal play as Hayes backhanded that, and then it was just Martin maybe off the crossbar there, maybe. Let's see the replay here as Martin goes off of, and yeah, I think to go at a play on that angle, that would have had to go off the crossbar. So yeah, old Lendak giving the old crossbar a tippity tap there. Thank you, old pal, appreciate that. As things continue on here for Canada, 11:01 to go in this second period. Off the end wall, Slovakia wheels up the far side, turns it over to Ginla. Ginla turns it over to Slovakia, and this one will be picked up across the line now into the Canadian end. Slovakia keeping it alive to the far side. Bounce off the wall. Favorable for Slovakia. Back to the blue line. Shot directed towards traffic. Kick save made by Ivankovic. His 8th of the game. This will be bounced off the boards again. Lively inside the Canadian end. And here across the line is Verhoff over to Martone. The shot! Martone. I mean, these goals that Canada are scoring tonight are absolutely gorgeous. What a shot to make it 6-0. That was a beauty from Martone, just busting through the slot off the tape of Verhoff and then firing home. A goal to make it, yes indeed, 6-0 for Canada. Woo boy, what a goal. And that is fantastic to see. As that was Verhoff putting it onto the tape of Martone, and then just a quick shot off the inside of the post area there on the far side. And Verhoff, weird deke, he wanted to keep going with that puck. Martone skates into it, steals the glory, buries the puck, puts it in the bag at the back of the net. And Team Canada up 6-0. You're loving to see the action here tonight. Canada's been doing a phenomenal job. And that puts us in a good spot here to keep things rolling. The face-off at center ice. 10:27 to go in the second period. Puck to the near side as it'll be worked across the line by Surchek. Backhanded there by McKenzie. Back to the blue line and picked up now by Beaudoin as Canada tries to rush up ice again. Beaudoin in on net, denied there by the last-ditch effort of the Slovakian defender Denoyer with the puck. Sam O'Reilly already with the net. Goal on net so far tonight. Martone from Verhoff and Misa. So now we have some 2-point scorers in this hockey game. Off the wall, it's going to be Slovakia inside their own zone, rolling up the far side, trying to get out to the middle. Canada denies a kick save and a beauty at the blue line by Slovakia to get towards the Canadian net. That puck just did not favorably bounce for the boys topped in blue tonight. And Slovakia now near side inside the Canadian territory. Off the end wall, find a man, far side corner, bounce it into the middle of the ice. That will be denied by Canada. Back the other way. Here's now O'Reilly. Loading up for Denoyer to the far side. That doesn't work out. And this will be back to the blue line now, picking up Perek. Perek inside the offensive zone to the front of the net. Denied O'Reilly. Baudouin scores. 7-0. And Canada is piling it on. And I think they're starting to get those juices from the first period where shooting the puck to the back of the net feels real good. And they don't want to stop doing it. So Canada now up 7-0. What a shot on goal. What an interesting shot there. The puck laying in the middle of the ice, as John saying, good thing we didn't have to face Latvia this time. That is a good point. Latvia does have Canada's number, and Baudouin, the assistant captain, firing home another puck. It's so great to see him having impactful World Juniors this year. Canada goes from scoring, 13 goals all tournament last year to now picking up, over the last 2 games, 13 to win the group, and of course as well, go out there and get up 7-0 in the quarterfinal midway through the hockey game. This game, I talked up Slovakia. You heard me talk up Slovakia through the pregame. I was like, I don't know. They're a good enough team that they could be a problem. It could be an issue for Canada. Just watch Slovakia. We'll see how it goes. And then very quickly at the end of the first period, we knew where this game was headed. And unfortunately for Slovakia, it's not headed in a good direction. Friends, Zane Perek, he's been a big part of Team Canada this year, and I will tell you, Zane Perek is going to be an absolute beauty. I don't know if Calgary will be the team that he plays for the longest in his career. We kind of saw that with some other guys, so we'll see how that pans out. But obviously for Canada tonight, been a fantastic game. It's been a great time to have you along for the ride. I want to say again, awake. I feel like you're just lurking in the background after sending down that $20 super chat. Appreciate the heck of that if you're still hanging around. And of course, friends, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet tonight, make sure to get that done. I would love to have you aboard for tomorrow's day of action for the Oilers. Maybe a little bit of Team Canada talk, maybe a little bit of Toronto Blue Jays talk. We're closing in on 19,000 subscribers right now, 40 away from 19,000, which puts us 1040 away from 20. That's been the big goal here, pushing into the new year here this evening. So Canada absolutely rolling for what has been a big game. And I know you probably heard me belch there a little bit on the live stream. Unfortunately, that's the problem with live production and eating while you're doing it. It's a tough go to some degree, I'll tell you, as you try to eat fast and you try to, of course, keep it all down at the same time. Yes, it is a 7-0 lead for Team Canada here. Not good for Slovakia, but Canada rolling nonetheless. Face-off down, one back by Canada. Shot towards the net, blocked in front by, who is that? Coots. I forgot Coots for a second. This one will be worked out back into the neutral zone. Coots will again come up with this puck for a brief moment. Slovakia was able to stick it away. 9 minutes to go in the second period of play. I am going to tell you, given the way this one's going, it's going to be a good night to party here in southern Alberta. I'll tell you that. January 2nd, Friday night, first Friday night party of the year. I'm in. As this will be loaded up. Here's Coots looking to get Reed going back the other way. Coots across to the middle of the ice. It'll be denied there by Slovakia. Trying to pick it up at the blue line is Perek. He'll fire it down low. 8:30 to go in this second period of play. Pass to the near side for Slovakia. Back across the line into the Canadian end. This one, far side boards. They'll just wheel and deal down low, and that will load up Brady Martin, who will gun up through for Hayes on the right wing. Now back to Luchenko as we go with a different look. I mean, hey, you know what? For the Team Canada squad, have a little bit of fun with it. See, who else connects. See who else you might be able to throw out there against Sweden in the gold medal game and throw for a loop. As that was Aitchison blowing a tire by skating on top of the puck. Never a good spot to be. You're probably going to lose your balance every time. And this one off the near side wall as both teams kind of just cleared out to the near side wall. Slovakia gets the turnover at the blue line from Canada. They'll cross the line here. Tomka fires the shot towards the net. It's denied. Reloaded shot off the pad of Ivan Kovic, and that's to Slovakia's credit. They haven't stopped shooting the biscuit. This one along the far side corner, that might work out for Slovakia. Instead, Tomka throws a hit on McKenna. He's able to absorb contact and push it ahead now for Hayes. Hayes across the line, looking to get this one towards the net. It won't go, and that will be turned back by Slovakia with 7:15 to go in the second period of play. like I said, this play-by-play, I'm sorry, is going to get a lot boring. And if Canada makes it 8, we'll kind of slow down on the play-by-play and just talk with the chat here and get things going, because there's not much to really regroup here the rest of the way home unless Slovakia, can score 4 goals in a matter of the final 8 minutes of the second period. I guess 7 minutes now, as Slovakia towards the front of the net, trying to backhand that through traffic. Didn't end up working. Martone leads ahead for Ginla. Ginla on the breakaway. Backhander denied by Lendak. And then along the end wall, Misa's taken in. And Slovakia wants a piece of Canada as a little bit of nasties get going behind the net here between Canada and Slovakia with 6:45 to go in the second period of play. Oh boy, what a fun hockey game it's been. Obviously, the big stress relief for the evening is Canada doing what they did to get the goals they did in the time they did, to get the job done the way they did, to make sure we're all not stressing at this point of the second period. Nice, nice, nice. As we'll go here to see where we're sitting at. All right. Looking good, looking good. As we roll into the final 6:45 of the second period. The nice part is, for the first time in 2 years, I will get a chance to call a semifinal game for Team Canada at the World Juniors. Looking very much so forward to that, friends, as we have a penalty on the play. Slovakia, the only team going to the box again. I don't know why you wouldn't just keep it even from here on out, but that's me against the refs at this point. What I will tell you while we wait for things to get going is, definitely, again, I'm going to hit this heavy and hard the rest of the game. Feel like a lot of you have been hanging out for a good portion now. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, again, love to have you do that. Lucas Tomka, my favorite guy on Slovakia, takes the penalty outside of Lendak. We love that guy. Goal on 2 power plays for Team Canada, 5 shots. Face off down, 1 back to the blue line. Prek, a nice little move there at the blue line to evade traffic. Now here's McKenna near side dot. McKenna towards the net, looking backdoor for Martin again. McKenna and Martin have that Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman thing going. I think if you're anybody in the NHL, you might be trying to find a way to trade for Brady Martin if you acquire Gavin McKenna in the draft this year. Now to the near side, McKenna loading up. Like I said, you kind of need that Draisaitl Hyman connection for a guy like McKenna, and that's what would be real beautiful for anybody. Maybe Nashville wins the draft lottery. Who knows? That would be perfect, wouldn't it? Back to the blue line. Here's Prek over to the near side for McKenna. Puck flips up, and it'll be loaded now by Hayes. Hayes with less than 6 minutes to go. Hayes thinks better of shooting the puck. He'll go back to the point for Prek. Over to Hayes. Middle of the ice. Reshny shot fired wide. It'll be cleared down the length of the ice, that time by Slovakia. And we'll have a stoppage and play. Or sorry, not a stoppage and play. I thought we'd have an icing. I forgot we're on the power play. I mean, this is the tough part. Everything is kind of, Martone towards the net there. Kind of irrelevant at this point, the way Canada's gone up and forced the issue on 31 shots and 7 goals in this hockey game so far tonight. Martone in the middle of the ice. He'll play it over to the near side. It'll be Slovakia picking it up and trying to fire it down the ice. It'll be turned back by Prek a couple of times, and here's Martone loading up over to Misa, back to Martone. Martone tries to curl back to the high slot for a Ginla. The puck will go up off the glass, out into the middle of the ice. 5 minutes to go here in this second period of play. Puck picked up by Martone one more time. Martone dumps back to Misa. Now back to Martone. Martone looking from behind the net. Tries to get cheeky with it and flip it off Lendak's mask and into the back of the net from behind. That didn't work out. Back now near side. Misa, I don't think Martone just bought himself any favors with the Slovakian side, by the way. Ginla fires the shot through traffic off a body out of play. Stoppage and play with 4:39 to go here in this hockey game's second period. Yeah, I will tell you, the numbers on the live stream have dipped down a little bit simply because there's not much you're going to find out the rest of the way home in tonight's hockey game. Canada has effectively ended this one early with just a few minutes remaining in tonight's second period. Friends, thank you so much for being aboard again. To Awake for slamming down the $20 super chat. Truly appreciate that. It just kind of, is that great reward at the end of the tunnel for, doing this at the end of the day. And, I appreciate when you guys throw the extra money my way. It just allows kind of, that budget to find some extra stuff for the setup. I know there's been a lot of changes over the past year here on the Dolynny TV setup. We now have the mobile mics, so really looking forward to using those when we got up to Edmonton next time out. And yeah, it's just been a fantastic year to have you guys supporting here on the channel. So yeah, what do we know about Gavin McKenna and crew? It's been a fun hockey game so far. They've done the job effectively against Slovakia. So as Jay says, good thing they were confident for this one. Yes, that is true. Confidence is key, as I used to say all the time. And yeah, it's been a good month, I think, of hockey here. And just to say the 2025 recap, what I'll tell you is the World Juniors last year was the best live stream of the year, that being the Team Czechia, Team Canada quarterfinal game. So Ryan asking where the games are at. They're in Minnesota, friends. That's kind of where they're at this year. They're in Minneapolis and St. Paul. We'll go to St. Paul for the semis and the finals starting on Sunday, 2:30 in the afternoon is semifinal number 1, 6:30 in the afternoon is semifinal number 2. So Canada likely, because of where they've been all tournament, at the 6:30 game, probably to play the 6:30 game Mountain Time again. That's 8:30 Eastern, 8:40 puck drop Eastern. As now we just have 4:12 remaining in this second period. Not much really happening on the ice again. Canada's trying to move north and stay in the offensive zone and just avoid any problems here. But, you know, it's been a beautiful go here for Canada against Slovakia so far tonight, and hopefully they can continue that the rest of the way home. As to the far side, Slovakia enters the Canadian end. There's really not, like I'm saying, this is kind of the tough part of the rest of this live stream, is you're not going to gain much from watching Canada or listening to me talk about Canada, other than maybe, you know, hat-trick watch for any of your favorite players if Canada keeps putting the boots to Slovakia here offensively. But Slovakia, the question is, can they score a goal here? As this one goes to the far side boards, picking it up, Slovakia fires a shot on net. Canada unable to recover that puck. Slovakia along the wall. One of the Canadian players takes a high stick. Slovakia able to recover in the offensive zone to the near side blue line. It comes down the wing. The shot fired, scores. Slovakia, I'm asking if they can score a goal. And how about that? Slovakia makes it a 7-1 hockey game with 3:10 to go. Brunik asking why that wasn't a high stick. But Cody, Dale Hunter, the GOAT. Yeah, Dale Hunter's probably the undisputed GOAT of the past 20 years of junior hockey at this point. And Brunik asking how that's not a high stick. That's fair enough, but I think he also high sticked Tomac in the face on the way down there. Yeah, I think he caught him with the butt end there. So a little bit of back and forth, if I'm not mistaken, on my look, and that's a beautiful snipe there for Slovakia. Chovan, I think it was him that said they were going to guarantee the win tonight. So hey, at least Jan Chovan shows up and finds the back of the net for his country this evening, as Slovakia has life, albeit very irrelevant life, at least at this moment. They would have to score about another 2 or 3 here in this this second period to make it at all interesting. As across the line, you know, Canada says now game on, we can score another one. Coots tries to follow up the snipe job by Chovan by finding one back of the net himself. He couldn't do it. It'll be rimmed around the zone by Canada. First one to it is Reshny. Luchenko in behind the net. Reshny gets the puck back to the blue line, picked up by Aitchison. Aitchison near side for Danford, off the end wall. Coots wraparound in front. Can't get it going. Jan Chovan from Coleman and Tomic. As this one goes out of the corner for Canada. Coots looking to get back in front. Here's the shot from Danford. It's blocked in front. Coots will bounce off the near side boards. Over to Danford, back to Aitchison, back to Danford. Danford over to Aitchison one more time. The shot through traffic. Off of Lendak to the end wall. Picked up in the corner by Hage. He's going to come skating away with it. He'll backhand niftily through the legs to Coots. Now on control over to Danford. Danford turns it over to Slovakia, who promptly turns it over in front. The shot, the one-timer by Aitchison. And I mean, crease crashing was Hage, but Lendak, the big-time save in front, diving in that puck and keeping it out of his net. You love to see that. As Danny again keeps you updated. 35-11, the shots on goal for Canada. As Lendak continues to have himself a hockey game here, as Hage went down in the blue paint and Lendak just had to swallow that one full-chested. And what a save there with now 2:01 to go in this second period of play. Turning back, Canada trying to get this one won through traffic. Instead, Slovakia will pick it up with a $1:54 to go here in this second period to play along the end wall. That'll be to the near side. Reed back to the blue line. The shot through traffic denied in front by Ivan Kovic of Canada. It'll be lifted back into the Slovakian end. Icing call off the side of the net there with a $1:39 to go here. As Danny's tuckered out. It's past 4 a.m. I feel that. It was up to 4 a.m. on New Year's morning. That was a brutal go, to say the least. But you know what? At the end of the day, all my friends got home safe. And I woke up at noon the next day and still had a productive YouTube day. So can't complain about that on a day off from the old regular sheet medaling. So life is good. As looks like somebody just went down the tunnel for Canada there a little bit. Maybe not all the way. As Slovakia in behind the net trying to roll this one around the zone. They'll come to the near side. Turning back is Perek. Perek will look to the near side boards and try to bounce this one out into the neutral zone. It'll be turned back there by Slovakia. $1:21 remaining, and Slovakia does have life. They're up 7-1 here in this, or they're down 7-1, sorry, in this second period of play. $1:15 to go in the second period. Over to the far side. Now $1:08 is across the line. Picking it up. Slovakia, the shot on net as Ivan Kovic gets taken down by the Slovakian player in front, and Canada, rightfully so, unimpressed with the Slovak captain who fell on top of their stud goaltender, their ace for this one so far. And that was a big play to the net there by Pitka as he just kind of, I'm just going to go right into Ivan Kovic. As he just decided, right on top. I feel contact. Backwards is the place to go here. He just rolls right in to the crease and down over top of Ivan Kovic, who's thankfully not injured on the play. The puck going out of play there as Ivan Kovic's knee kind of bent back in a bad position, but goalies are limber, so that's the not bad thing there as Canada and Slovakia tying up and throwing hands a little bit in front of the net as well in this sequence. As Pitka, a little bit of goalie interference there. Will he go to the box for that is the question. It looks like Canada as the only team going to the box is Perek. Will go sit down. And is there a guy going for Slovakia at all? I wonder. I just can't quite see it on my team screen here. Tomka will go to the box for Slovakia. So a $1:04 to go here in this second period to play. 36 shots on net for Canada as Perek goes for the shot on Pitka, and then I don't know what Tomka did to get a penalty there, but Tomka, I guess, headlocks Perek and then gives him the old stanky glove there in front, so that makes sense. A little bit of a tussle up there in front as Pitka created a little bit of chaos. As you know, down 7-1, you might as well do something out there if you're Slovakia, and I mean, not that you're trying to injure or anything, but you're trying to get something rumbled up. And again, friends, I'll tell you right now, if you're enjoying hanging out here on the stream, come back tomorrow for Canada versus, or the Oilers versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Would love to have you aboard for that. Definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. Closing in, we're under the last 35 subscribers to go to get to 19,000, which starts the chase for 20 after that. So face off, one back by Canada. They will lift out of the zone, and are they saying that went directly out by Canada? Do we have a penalty on the play? And is Carroll's going to the box here for Canada to give Slovakia a late power play? It looks like that may be the case here. And we'll have a power play for Slovakia with 5:09.3 on the clock here in the second period. 36-14 the shots on goal. So Slovakia is starting to slowly but surely claw back into this hockey game little by little. A little bit too late, I would say, but just Carroll's an uncharacteristic mistake there from the Canadian defenseman firing it over top of the glass. Looked like he was going to get the stick touch. He didn't. So there's two Canadian defensemen in the box. Good thing Canada's got 6 more left on the bench as this one's going to be fired into the defensive zone for Slovakia. As the PK for Canada is second best in the tournament thus far. Loading up in their own zone is Slovakia. 45 seconds to go in this second period of play across the blue line. Now under 40 seconds remaining as it's tapped down low. Danford along the wall tries to battle this one free. Instead now Slovakia to the far side, picking it up in the Canadian zone. That failed for a pass at the blue line, so Slovakia has to reload across the Canadian line as this will be picked up and fired back in to the into the Slovakian zone. 15 seconds to go here in this second period of play. Loading back over the line. Slovakia trying to push this one on net before the end of the period. That'll be picked up by Slovakia in the far side corner. I thought Canada was going to be the first ones to it. Blocked in front by Danford. And time will run down here in the first period of play, or second period of play. 7-1 the lead. My brain's mush. Canada has scored a ton of goals. It's been a good hockey game. Let's recap it, and I'll go grab quickly another bite to eat as I'm just starting to feel the old stomach growling again. 7-1 Canada after one period, or after 2 periods play. I won't screw that up at the end of the 3, I promise you. Cole Reshny, Tisha Ginla, Michael Misa, Sam O'Reilly, Brady Martin, Porter Martone, Cole Baudouin, Jan Chauvin. That's the goal scoring in this one. Jan Chauvin, the goal scorer, the guaranteer for Team Slovakia. I'll be right back. Again, friends, like I said, hit that subscribe button if you want to come back for Oilers and Blue Jays coverage. For right now, I am upstairs for a brief break. All right, well, let's do this. Big old cup of chocolate milk here on the stream. And a chance to sit back and relax and enjoy tonight's hockey game. As, hopefully Team Canada can just finish off this job in the third period. Kind of got hairy there at the end. So, it is what it is. As we say, Inspirato, thank you for telling everybody to hit that thumbs up. I guess we could check that out here. We're up to 76 likes on the stream. So, hey, that's the second highest we've had this tournament so far. So, glad to have everybody hitting that thumbs up. Thank you very much as I just try to regather my thoughts after choking down some more food here. It's been a busy night on the old feeding. Oh boy, nice cold one on a Friday night. Yes, you betcha. That's what I like to see. Friday nights for the cold ones and the boys, right? We love to see it. So for Team Canada, Friday nights for the boys as well. They've been partying out there on the ice all night, 7-1 lead. As I would say Misa's been maybe to this point a bit of a passenger, but this game all of a sudden he has cranked up the intensity. He has a goal and an assist and has looked good doing it here tonight. So for Team Canada, hopefully an effort here in this third period that, like I said, just walk it home. Just walk it home. Don't make it any more complicated than it needs to be. Don't make it any more or less than it needs to be, and then we should be good to go. So, and Inspirato, I was thinking the exact same thing. Quite honestly, I thought Slovakia is what was going to be a little bit of a tougher contest for Team Canada than this. Again, jumping out to a 5-0 lead in the first period has a lot to do with it. Slovakia was a much better team in that second period with Lendek fully in there for a full period. So something to be said there. But Cody, if they drop 6 goals, you're blaming my hot chocolate. Good thing it's chocolate milk. Me being a bit of a sarcastic guy there. But no, honestly, fair enough. This is some good stuff, though. Christmas time, I tell you, all about the anything but regular milk. Eggnog, you guys saw me drink enough eggnog right around Christmas time there. I could drink a store clean, but unfortunately this year had to change directions because the eggnog was a bit too much there after a few jugs. So it is what it is. What are we seeing? 748-49 votes now on the poll. Does Canada advance? 86% of the vote went towards Canada. It'll still probably end up 85 plus at the end of the day, simply as it shouldn't. And Cody's saying not a hot drinker. I love my coffee. I love my lattes. I love my everything hot, tea. But honestly, anything with good flavor. Anything that's nice and hearty. That's what I love about lattes. Yes, they got the caffeine. Yes, they got lots of sugar, but they are heavy. And that's probably my favorite thing about a drink is, latte is not the best thing for you on an empty stomach trying to get through the mid-morning break. But when it gives you a little something in the stomach to, okay, now I just have to look forward to lunch, that's all right. We can deal with it. The tough part is not getting the brownie when you're grabbing the latte from Starbucks. That's the real challenge in and of itself. So Canada, friends, I guess for those of you that haven't been along for the ride the whole night, maybe you want to hear who's scored. I don't know. Just saying, maybe. Cole Reshny, Tisha Ginla, Michael Misa, Sam O'Reilly, Brady Martin on the power play, Porter Martone, Cole Beaudoin. That's 7 goals for Canada. And then Jan Chauvin, who I believe is the guy that said, yes, Finland is going to win this one. He's got a goal. To his credit, he's got a goal and a period to turn it around yet. So nothing out here yet. As NT, Boo Oilers, Go Flames. Hey, you know what? End of the day, I will tell you as a hardcore, dedicated Oilers fan, a good Calgary Flames team is uber important to the Oilers' success and to the success of hockey in Canada in general. Because a good Flames team and a good Oilers team in the playoffs, as we saw in 2022, is like nation breaking. It's province dividing in the best possible ways, right? It's the best chaos you can possibly have in the springtime in Canada. And one of, if not the coolest moments in hockey recently for me was just watching how Oilers fans were born out of that Calgary Flames Oilers series. Like, I know friends of mine that never watched hockey in a million years, you know, out at the campsite, somebody that they were with were watching the game, whatever the case might be, and it just exploded Oilers fandom across Alberta, let me tell you. Flames fandom to some degree too. It's not the worst. And James saying Canada always saves the best for the end of the tournament. Well, I'll tell you, the best has been Canada throughout much of this tournament. Slovakia, I think it's easy to understand that they were going to be a weaker opponent, but I think, you know, Latvia, who should have been a weaker opponent as well, has really come to the table with a game plan that stymies Canada in so many different ways. And it's pretty incredible to see just the direction and kind of way that Canada's gone throughout this tournament. And seeing that third line play. Oh, friends, have you not heard? I guess maybe we should take a moment to talk about that. I know it's Canada, Slovakia tonight, but let's take a moment again to direct towards the Edmonton Oilers for a moment, if I could, about how Matt Savoy is likely to center Ike Howard and Quinn Hudson next game for the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow afternoon. I think against Philly, that's a perfect game to do it. Kind of a team that, again, will showcase their weaknesses of their game, but also a team that the Oilers should be able to shelter them enough that even though that happens, still beat the Flyers rather handily, given the way that the Oilers have been going in the month of December. So, yeah, we'll hopefully... yeah, Cody, we don't talk politics here in the chat. That's the only real big rule, is don't swear and don't put politics in there. So, yeah, it's kind of a situation for the Oilers where that kid line could be real something special. And it feels crazy to say kid line in the year 2026, right? We're talking about 2006, 2007, the last real time we were talking about the kid line. Maybe some stuff here in terms of what we got, the early 2010s, I guess. Hall, Nugent Hopkins, Yakupov, PRV in there maybe for a little bit as well. So that's kind of where we get maybe a little bit of the kid line as well. But it's been a while since then, that's for sure. As Travis, Canada versus Slovakia, yes, that is the case. And the point here tonight, Cole Reshny, Tija Ginla, Michael Misa, Sam O'Reilly, Brady Martin, Porter Martone, Cole Beaudoin. The goal scorers for Canada, Jan Chauvin, the lone goal scorer for Slovakia. It's been a fun game so far, so, you know, end of the day, things keep rocking and rolling here. And definitely, yeah, if you haven't already hit that thumbs up on the stream, we're up over 85, which is now the record for the live streams this year. And yeah, definitely would love to have you hit that subscribe button as well. Sorry, I feel like every time I look up at the TV, it's a commercial break, so kind of have to fill time somehow, some way. But 7-1 for Canada, as they were 4-0 in the preliminary round and looking to be 1-0 in the quarterfinals here as we move forward to what could be a very interesting finish to this whole tournament. It's Czechia, Sweden, Finland, Canada. Quite a finish. So, as Cody, are you talking the final here tonight between Canada and Slovakia, or are you talking the final in the tournament? Because I think that's a little obvious now. I think Sweden's going to roll in there, and it'll be Canada rolling in as well. As I don't think there's anything that Finland or Czechia can adapt from their game against Canada in the group stage to take on Jack Ivankovic and Canada in net this time, if that makes sense, right? I think, Carter George for Czechia and Finland, if he's playing, yeah, I mean, give them a chance. But if Ivankovic's in there, given the way he's played through 3 games in the past few years in this tournament, I think you get into the semifinal, it should be pretty easy to advance, and then you add Sweden all the way. It's going to be interesting to see if Sweden is able to pull it off, or if Canada will just get the job done, as Canada typically does when they get into the gold medal games against Sweden. And actually, fun fact, Tej Ginla is not the Ginla that plays for the Oil Kings. Tej Ginla is the Kelowna Rockets player, I believe. Joe Ginla, the even younger son of Jerome, is the player for the Edmonton Oil Kings. So there is 2 Ginlas in the pipeline coming up towards the NHL level. That's going to be fun to see how that develops. Again, Jerome's kind of the guy that, if his son's playing the NHL, that's the kids you want playing in the NHL, because they're going to play hockey the right way, the best way possible. Whereas, some other players, maybe not your favorite players back then, and their kids don't really do much of anything, or their kids are superstars. Kind of goes one way or the other. Whereas, with Iggy, they're going to play that Iggy brand of hockey, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. Again, as an Oilers fan, I friggin' hated that guy for years, but man, you got to respect it. You got to respect it at the end of the day, what Ginla did and what he was as a captain and a leader at the NHL level. 7-1 Canada over Slovakia. Again, hindsight's 2020, and man, it's easy to look back and appreciate. So you love to see it. As Gord Miller, Mike Johnson on the call here for this third period of play, friends. We are about to wind down the quarterfinal against Slovakia. Again, Slovakia would need 6 goals minimum here in the second period to just tie the hockey game against Canada. So it'll be interesting to see just how much Canada can control the third period and finish this out here this evening. Ginla, of course, he's had some chances. Lendak's been phenomenal. As Inspirito, it was Tej that got drafted by Utah as well, so the Kelowna Rockets kid. As Tej is out there for Canada here tonight, and he's had himself a fun tournament so far. A lot of high fives in the crowd for Jerome, and we'll see if Canada can keep things rolling going into this now. The third period of play is the officials talking things over with the head coach for Slovakia. As Tomka has been kicked out of the game. Tomka talking to his coach as he comes out of the tunnel, as Tomka was actually kicked out of the game. Okay, that's interesting for Slovakia. That's good to note. We're 5 seconds in, by the way, into this third period of play. 54 seconds left in the power play for Slovakia. 19:50 to go here in this third period of play across the line. Picked up by Slovakia. Backhand forced by Canada, for Slovakia. That didn't work out, and it ended up along the end wall. Picking it up, Slovakia back to the blue line. Nobody home. And with 30 seconds gone in this third period of play, Canada starts winding down clock here in this third period. 26 seconds in the first minute remaining of the third period. Slovakia inside the neutral zone. Canada doing an effective job, giving no options on the penalty kill. 16 seconds remain on the power play for Slovakia. As we finish up the first minute of play here in the third period, Slovakia is still trying to get across the Canadian line once more. They do it here. 4 seconds remain in the first minute gone. And this will be backhanded over to Aitchison. Aitchison along the wall will flip out into the neutral zone territory. Picked up by Slovakia off of a bank of a Canadian skate. And this will be across the line now. Slovak attack to the net. Kick save. Ivan Kovic rather calm, cool, and collected there in net for Team Canada across to the far side, picking it up as this one. We'll get this one down the wall behind the Slovak net. To the near side, it's picking up to the near side boards and stolen away by Luchenko, who takes a jolt, 1-2. And then Coots comes up with the puck across to Reshny. Reshny wraps around the net in front. Luchenko fires it wide. We're still into this third period without a whistle. 18:15 to go in this third period. So finally a glove down puck by Slovakia. Minute 47 in. They decided to, kill some clock here, as this is exactly what you want to do here in this third period of play. As, Basically, I think, Todrag, there was not only the mess in front of the net that Tomac took the penalty for, it was actually a mess in front of the bench after the fact that Tomac took the unsportsmanlike misconduct for. So, kind of something I don't know if we saw or even if they had clocked or they even had a camera on, but there was something that Mike Johnson mentioned there on the stream. So, too many men penalty to Slovakia with 18:13 to go. So that's what the penalty was. And we will have a face-off here. Pobazal against Rezhny in the draw. Rezhny wins the draw back for Canada as Perek takes it to the far side. Picking it up now is McKenna. McKenna with the puck. He'll just dance around, fire a shot towards the net. He still hasn't scored tonight. Has Gavin McKenna. Is off the wall. Hayes recovers. Back down low for Martin. Martin will go back to the point for Hayes. Hayes looking. He will scoop around and spin and spin and spin. Back down low for Martin. Martin back to the blue line for Perek. Perek over near side for Hayes. Hayes over to the high point for Perek. The shot towards the net. Looking backdoor, of course, for Brady Martin. Come on now. You know it. You love it. It's been the play all game on the power play. 17:33 to go in the third period of play. Buck 19 remaining in the power play. Canada across the line now near side. Rezhny with the puck along the dot. He'll go to the wall. Bounce it back to the blue line for McKenna over far side. That'll be Martin. Martin towards the net. Off a stick. Out of play. Love a stoppage. I don't know what Martin was trying to do with that puck, but he was trying to be a little sneaky based on how he stood on his skates there, and that puck just rode a stick out of play with 17:19 to go in the third, and a buck 07 remaining in the Canadian power play. This hockey game, it's been an interesting one so far for Canada, and now the question is, can they get the job done here? Just keep goals off the board and keep things from getting any worse for Slovakia at the same rate as Perek. Over to the far side for Misa. Down low to Luchenko. Back to the blue line for Perek. Perek the shot through traffic. Save made. Rebound to Misa. Misa will go off the boards to the high point. Perek over near side. Martone looking off the wall. He'll go back to the point. Perek far side. The shot by Misa. Faked. Misa just absolutely jammed at his stick there to fake the shot. Now Perek glove hand save by Lendak to the near side point. It'll be Perek losing that puck and maybe setting up an attack for Slovakia. And I mean, Slovakia's had some trouble here corralling the puck tonight. Their puck skills haven't exactly been on point. Ivan Kovic makes the save on a sloppy play by Canada, allowing Slovakia a shot. Here's Misa across the line. Glove pass, 16:28 to go in the third. Whistle blowing. So there you have it. So Canucks playing the game according to David as well. All right. So hopefully Canada can get things rolling with 16 seconds to go here on the power play. Face off in the defensive zone. And it'll be drawn back by Slovakia. Shot towards Ivan Kovic. We'll have a stoppage and play one more time with 12 seconds remaining in the power play. Now the shots are 13-16 for Canada. So the nice part is for Ivan Kovic, the workload hasn't been heavy, nor have the chances been dangerous per se, but he still has 15 saves on 16 shots, and that's as good of a number as any for Canada in this tournament so far in the crease. Off the far side wall, Slovakia on the win off the draw will battle it to the end wall. Brunik will pick this up and be off to the far wall and across the line, tipped in by Baudouin. Baudouin off the end wall. He'll roll over and allow O'Reilly to battle for that puck. O'Reilly just takes himself down, trying to make contact on the Slovak player. 16 minutes remain in the hockey game. Back behind the Canadian goal line, Brunik. Short side shot there by Slovakia goes up and out of play. And James, I'm with you. We just need this game to end now. There's really, again, there's no entertainment value in a 7-1 game in the third period with less than 16 minutes remaining. That's kind of the hard problem, nor do I want to dress it up because there's no point showing up Slovakia here. Again, Canada winning this game proves enough of a point. You don't need to go out there as a Canadian squad and get any too much more excited about it, unfortunately, as it's kind of a tough situation to be in for Canada and our fans here tonight, as you just kind of have to walk back the victory here to the finish line and just enjoy the fact that we had some highlight reel goals. Really is all in all needs to happen. So this one Down low into the Canadian, or into the Slovakian end, sorry, is onside. Coots blew a tire. Sorry, Mikey V just texted me there saying 4-3 Finland was right today, not yesterday. Back at the blue line, Verhoff over to the far side. Luchenko plays it to the middle of the ice. That will be cut off by Slovakia. Picked up through the middle of the ice. 15:22 to go in this third period of play in case you're trying to watch the clock and it's not updating fast enough on your screen. This one on the far side, as Slovakia will wrap it off the end wall, picking it up along behind the Canadian net. Slovakia getting some zone time here. Again, handling pucks, not their forte in this hockey game, as Verhoff cuts that off one more time. 15 minutes, thankfully, to go here in this third period that started out hot. I mean, this third period went $1:47 without the first whistle, and now we're just kind of trying to kill as much clock between whistle to whistle as possible here for Canada. Inside the last 14:45 now to go as Brady Martin leaves it for Gavin McKenna. Martin through the middle. He's cut off by Slovakia. Pass to the near side as Slovakia walks the right wing into the offensive zone. Backhand on net. Save made twice over by Ivan Kovic, and we've killed now another 15 seconds as this puck comes to the middle of the ice. Now McKenna on a steal, trying to get that one going forward. He couldn't do it. Back the other way. Here's Slovakia across the line, offside. 14:22 to go in this third period of play. As, yeah, things slow down on the stream, and obviously for good measure, as it's kind of a tough go. As you're up now, big total of 7-1 with 14.5 to go in the third period of play. I don't know anyone that's going to put their Friday night plans on hold the rest of the way home tonight to tune into this one, whether it be on TSN, whether it be on tsn.ca or here on Dolynny TV, as this works back into the offensive zone and chipped out by Slovakia. There will be a touch on the play with 14:13 to go in this third period of play. So it's been a hockey game thus far for Canada that provided the result early, often, and quick here this evening against Slovakia. It's, hey, you know what? We had our doubts going in, mainly me, but hey, end of the day, it's a good time to be a Canadian fan and a victory nonetheless, as Slovakia will chip this one to the near side, tipped into the offensive zone by Slovakia, as this will be off the end wall, and both teams battle for it now. As yes, Elvin, there's about 14 minutes left in tonight's hockey game. As Rhyme saying 8-2 a final score. Yeah, a goal each at the end of this game makes sense here, as Canada off the near side boards inside their own zone, able to tap out into the neutral zone. Misa off the end wall, picking it up. I actually, you know what, I'm kind of feeling bad for Slovakia here, if I'm being honest with you. Definitely they wish they would have had a better effort here tonight, that's for sure. As just lost my television set here. Not sure what just happened. Never seen that happen before. The old television set just crashed. All right, stand by. We're going to get things going here as we're rolling. And for some reason, the old television box, she's dead as a doornail right now. So we'll get it going in a few seconds. Booting up is the old TV. We'll be back to action. I mean, welcome to what happens when everything is literally freezing to itself outside. That'll happen. As it's kind of a tough go out there, honestly. Like, even the ground is freezing. I don't even know if I want to hit the highway. Okay, Danny's saying there's an ice break. That's good. We should be ready to rock and roll here back onto the broadcast. Lost the feed there for a second. See if we can get that back. Sorry, friends. As we'll show the Canadian player in the penalty box. That's good. We're good. We're gold. Yeah, it'll reopen with a score of 14-1. You imagine I missed 7 goals in the game? Yikes. We've got brutal. As Martone, did he take a hooking call? I think that's what that looks like to me. 13:41 slashing call. Okay. All right. Fair enough. As we got to see how this goes. Sono, good evening to you. Glad to see you. As this goes for a face-off to the left of Jack Ivan Kovic here inside the Canadian end, back won by Slovakia. No shots on the power play. Looking to change that here almost immediately, I'd assume, as they're trying to work this one back to the far points now. Slovakia. The shot towards. This will be picked up by Mishiak. Mishiak rolling up. He will load the shot through traffic over top of the net. 13.5 minutes to go here in this third period of play. Puck's flipped out by Canada. And this power play should be a good opportunity for Canada for Slovakia to kill a lot of clock, one would figure at least, as this puck's picked up by Slovakia, one at the blue line through traffic and tipped into the Canadian zone. 13 minutes now remain in the hockey game's third period. Thankful for this. This 7-1 score left not much to be decided in the third period. Shot through traffic, denied again by Canada. Loading up now is Luchenko on a shorthanded opportunity. He really wants to score a goal tonight. He has been probably the most snake-bitten player in the tournament so far. Wesley asking if Canada will play Finland next. I'm actually not 100% sure how that shakes out, but I believe that may be the case because Sweden played Latvia. USA played Finland, so that should be the third place team. I think that does make sense. It should be Canada, Finland, and then Sweden, Czechia. That does math now that I sit down and think about it. 12:40 to go here in the third period to play. Slovakia through the middle of the ice. They're trying to get on the power play and get that first power play shot. Instead, Cameron Reed denies them there at the blue line. Coots stops up. He'll be turned back by Slovakia. 12:25 to go in this third as time continues to wind down. As, yes, Aaron, they're going to reseed the teams for the final semis. Yes, that's true too. So I can't remember exactly how that played out, but I think Czechia still finished above Finland, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that. As this will be worked to the near side, bounced off the board, Slovakia into the offensive zone. As USA lost Sweden and Finland, can they even compete for gold now? No, Dwayne. The US is out of the tournament. They are done and dusted for 2026. The shot from the point goes off of something in front. 11:44 to go here in the third period. I'm liking the questions here as we kind of close up the shop here this evening. As shot through traffic off of Ivan Kovic again. And this one into the corner, freed up for Reed near side. He'll take contact, but leave it for Luchenko, who goes over to Martone, who's now out of the box for Canada. 11:24 to go. Martone skating in. He'll deal back to the blue line, and then Lendak makes the save. So we have a stoppage in play with 11:18 to go here in this third period to play. I tell you, it is going to be a good night to kick back and enjoy things here this evening, that's for sure. Team Canada advancing to the semifinals of this tournament for the... Oh, excuse me again. I tried to make that one silent. Advancing to the finals for the... or semifinals for the first time in 3 years, and first time since winning the tournament outright the last time they did. This one back off the draw by Misa. We're going to redo the face-off. Carroll's just drafts the puck back towards the face-off dot there. 7-1 the lead, 40-20. The shots on goal for Canada over Slovakia. So, Jack Ivan Kovic, a .950 save percentage once again. He's been pretty incredible in this tournament so far for Canada, and I think has earned the semi-final start as Iginla off the wall, just being the calm, steady presence there. We'll get it back to the blue line. The shot through traffic goes up over top of the net. Behind it is now to the near side wall. Looking to get out of the zone. Canada able to turn back quickly. Martone looking to get things rolling. He's going to be sheltered there by the shoulder check of the Slovak player. Note to center ice. Slovakia is going to try and gun up into the zone here. Verhoff, the much bigger player, able to turn back the Slovak attacker. This will be worked now by Martone, skating in on the net there with Misa missing the backdoor tippity-tap just wide. And now Martone trying to push this back to the slot. Nobody home for Canada. And this will be fired back in by Slovakia. Time winding down, 10:24 here in this third period of play. Mercifully, time winding down this game. Well, as Canada, as I said, would kill clock here in this third period. It's kind of been a painful third period, almost a picture perfect in the same right third period here from Canada. Along the wall, time still bleeding away on the clock. As, yes, that is the thing. They are just driving it home nice and steady right now, or Canada, inside the last 10 minutes to go. So the last 600 seconds on the clock for this hockey game. Picking it up now. Martin across the line for McKenna. Onto the stick of Martin, but couldn't connect. And McKenna and Hayes behind the net will connect a few times over and get this going along the near side of the far side. Now the shot from Perek through traffic, blocked in front. 9.5 minutes to go. Canada, can you feel it? Semi-finals hockey coming on up as Aitchison over to the far side turns that puck over, but there ain't nobody there home on the near side boards for Slovakia, so they themselves turn the puck over, and this one will be loaded up by McKenna. McKenna across the line. He will drag to the near side for Aitchison. The shot on net blocked in front, and this will be passed out of the zone and picked up by Slovakia again as they'll walk down the wing to the far side. It'll be fired off the boards as Canada off the wall trying to get this one freed up as it'll be picked up and not cleared by Canada. Shot fired through distance. Ivan Kovac the save. And Canada won't be fans of the Slovaks poking at their goaltender, so they'll take a little moment to talk about it. But, man, Michael Misa, puck flips up on him at the exact wrong time. Friends, if you are new to the channel here, I'm going to tell you right now as we head to commercial break, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, would love for you to do that here on the channel this evening as we close in on the semifinals. Canada versus Slovakia. 8:47 to go in the third period of play. Canada having themselves an incredible game tonight. And yeah, it's been a fun hockey game to be a part of start to finish. I think things have kind of calmed down in terms of, friends trying to find the live stream tonight simply because this game was put to bed in the first period rather quickly by Team Canada. And hey, no problem. I don't have an issue with that. End of the day, Canada winning is all that matters when it comes to the World Juniors and getting the job done. So fight the good fight. Who's scrapping for the Condors? Looks like Josh Brown here scrapping for the Condors back in the jersey. Jones scores the 6th of the year in his return. Brown with a big hit in a fight, and it's 1-1 after one. Damian Carfana joins Ryan Holt on the broadcast if you're tuned in there to the Bakersfield Condors broadcast. So yeah, that is where we're at as now they're right 40-19 shots on goal. Yeah, so that's just kind of TSN updating things. I guess there's been a lot made of that. As James just saying, rest up, take it easy the rest of the way home, boys. That's at least the hope and the goal here for Canada as they try to drive this thing to the finish line with 8:47 to go in the third period of play. 7-1 over top of Slovakia here this evening. Canada has been absolutely dominant start to finish. Slovakia, you know what? They capitalized one big snipe shot from Chauvin there, and you'll love to see it there as this will be picked up now near side by Verhoff. Verhoff off the boards, out into the neutral territory. Galvis sees it cut by Coots in the neutral. It'll be picked up and fired back into the neutral here by Reshny. So he'll go across the line now for Verhoff. Verhoff skating up on this rush. Verhoff wants to create a little bit of something as it'll be a one-timer on the far side, kicked out by Landak, and now with 8:15 to go in this third period of play, Canada trying to just finish this one off with maybe one more goal. A fourth line goal wouldn't be a bad add to the game. The shot denied by Landak or the post on Baudouin, and this one will be picked up to Baudouin here. Baudouin rolling along the left wing wall, over across the line, be fired off the wall, and well, there you have it. 7:51 to go here in this first period of play as hit the post. Yes, indeed. What a shot there from Baudouin. Just could not beat the old eye run. This will be an opportunity now for Canada. Cole Baudouin, the 24th overall pick in 2024 by Utah. This along the wall. It'll be picked up by Slovakia inside the Canadian zone. Carols directs that off a Slovak skate. Picking it up, though, is Luchenko. And this will be rolled into the neutral zone. Monique, I'm sorry about the lack of enthusiasm here. There's not much to do. It's just, now comfort and just walk it home and serve the purpose I'm serving, which is keep you up to date with the game, although there's not much left to update. As Slovakia in the middle of the slot in the Canadian zone, denied there, and here picking up across the line, loading there is Desnoyers, back to the blue line for Baudouin on the pass from O'Reilly. Desnoyers to O'Reilly, behind the net. He's going to try and get this out in front for Baudouin. Canada, late stages of a 7-1 victory. It doesn't really matter. They just got to keep pounding towards the net here, as this one has been a good hockey game so far. And Monique, definitely, if you want to stay tuned for the World Juniors, would love to have you, and for the Oilers as well. So we're a big Oilers channel here, and maybe the Olympics coming up on Dolynny TV, friends. I guess that's the thing. Nobody's outright said, hey, man, you got to live stream the Olympics yet in the chat. But I definitely want to try and live stream the Olympics if I can. Just the times during the days, it would require a lot of work on the weekends and work on some weird days to try and let my boss let me go for the Olympics. Again, YouTube and day job, not really a good mix sometimes, because obviously YouTube costs me sleep sometimes, and sometimes doing YouTube on a break at work costs me a few extra minutes of work time. So kind of the difficult balancing act there, but 6.5 minutes to go here in this third period of play in the Olympics upcoming. In the next major Canadian tournament for us is this back to the blue line. The shot by Martin fanned on emphatically. You love it. I love what Canada's doing here. They're just, again, being kids. That's literally what Canada's doing, is kids being kids to close out a game. Not rudely, just having fun, going out there, doing their thing. And that's where we're at, is this one off the wall to the far side. Slovakia is going to be able to clear the zone with, 6 minutes to go. And yeah, that's where it is at. The U.S. did lose in overtime to Finland. And James, well, tell me what. I believe as long as Matt has an easy day at work on Monday, Matt will be back in the studio in the guest chair for the gold medal game against whoever that is, if Canada can get there after the semifinal on Monday. Nobody's mentioned Matt in a little bit, but yes, that is the idea. I was trying to keep that secret. I knew somebody would appreciate it. But yes, I'm very excited for hopefully having Matt back for the gold medal game, and then maybe some Olympic games if we can sneak it in. And Monique, I appreciate it. I do definitely. That's the whole drive behind Dolynny TV, is hockey is a passion. So to be able to talk it and enjoy it and get things going is absolutely fantastic. Sorry, just the house that I was house sitting for. Just double checking that everybody got home safe. And yeah, for Canada, one last penalty kill, and a great game today. Pause, I agree with you. It's been a fun one so far out of Canada, and definitely, friends, I know this has been kind of choppy in this third period. I understand that, but definitely would love if you could. I've hit this home hard. I'm just going to see if we can get this job done here tonight to hit 19,000, as we're up at 18,976 subscribers. So if you have any interest in the Blue Jays, any interest in the Oilers, any interest in hockey at all, consider hitting that subscribe button and sticking around. And Inspiration is also here for the Matt commentary. I mean, trust me, if we get to a gold medal game, I'm going to have to actually send him a picture of the chat right now here and get to that, as we're going to have a penalty, obviously, for repairs. All right. Rhyme doesn't know who Matt is. Matt's one of my good buddies that I met through the sheet metal industry. He's a fantastic friend of mine. Honestly, we just kind of connected over the Oilers years back, and we connected over just kind of, building a career out of the trades. And Matt was on during the 2024 playoffs for the Oilers, and he started in the second round with me, sitting in the chair next, and we just chatted about the Oilers, did a little bit of Bob and Jack and Louie and Jack and Chris Cuthbert and whoever else calls hockey with him kind of action, a little bit of play-by-play color commentary, and it was a blast. And a lot of you folks really enjoyed Matt being along for the ride, and I'm appreciative of everybody still remembering that Matt's around. So love that, as Slovakia is trying their best. It's a 4-minute double minor for high stick, and this is Slovakia's last gasp at pride in this hockey game. They're down 7-1, and man, would they love to score a couple here. 4:50 to go in this third period of play. As yeah, definitely, if you're wondering who Matt is, I would love to see everybody come back and meet Matt. He's a great guy. He played some Junior B back in the day, and I'm talking back in the day when it was the old jungle, not the new age jungle of the mid 2010s. I'm talking the early till the mid 2000s. As yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And Pauline, thank you for tuning in as well. As you know what, tonight's been a lot of fun. The end of the day is these last few live streams haven't gotten a lot of chances to chat with everybody at the end of the game because obviously it hasn't been comfortable for Canada. Second off, you know, a lot of folks kind of missing from the live streams because the game was available on TSN the last 2 games. But to anybody that's been watching either tonight or over the last course of the broadcast throughout the World Juniors, it's been absolutely fun to be back doing this. Every single year it's a blast, and honestly makes a lot of memories, makes a lot of great friends that stay tuned on the channel for a long time. So yeah, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for setting up what was an excellent stream. Again, 3.5 minutes to go here in this third period. Canada is just keeping Slovakia to the outside. They've been on the power play the last 2 minutes and do not have a shot on goal. Coots getting a lot of ice time out of this game. You love to see that. Dwayne, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. And at the end of the day, really, this World Juniors was about getting to as close to 20,000 subscribers as possible. And that's kind of the case here tonight, is you guys came through in the clutch, kind of hitting that subscribe button, almost 100 of you this evening. So really, truly do appreciate that. We are almost to the 3-minute mark of this third period. Painfully, this game is about to end. It's been a tough go for Slovakia. It's been an offensive explosion for Canada. The problem is they did all their scoring early, and as I kind of talked about, is now you just had to, you know, let Slovakia attack, but just keep them to the outside and don't allow it to be all too dangerous. We have an offside on the play with 2:45 to go here in this third period. Toe Drag, as far as I'm understanding, I think somebody was commenting that it is going to be Finland because of how it reseeds. Finland's the 3 in the A, or in the B. Sweden's the first in the B, and Czechia is the first in the A, and Czechia is the second in the B. So it should be Finland for Canada here in this one. So it looks like Danford kind of torqued something either in the arm or in the leg. He was kind of grimacing on the bench there for Canada, as Pauline confirms that it'll be Finland-Canada semifinals. Again, for those of you wondering why I'm always second-guessing myself, I hear the commentary. That's as far as it goes. I do not understand a word they say because I have to have the volume down enough to be able to talk over it, but also if I stop and listen, I can hear something. As this one picked up by Brunic on the penalty kill. We got a minute to go in the power play for Slovakia. 2.5 to go in the hockey game. 21 shots for Slovakia. 20 plus saves in this one by the time it's over for Ivan Kovic, who steps in for George, who has been such a serviceable goaltender for Canada over the past 2 World Juniors. But Ivan Kovic now getting his moment in the spotlight, and this should be a fantastic chance for Canada to run a new goalie into the semifinal and get things going. So 2-13, an elimination game in which Canada lit up for 7 goals. That's fantastic, and that is good to go. All right, here we go. This one, 2:13 to go in this third period of play, 7-1. The score in this third period, as it'll be off the end wall, and that'll be Aitchison going off and into the neutral zone, picking up back into the Slovak zone. 2:01 remains in the third period as time is going to wind down. I don't think we'll take another TV timeout. We will just get things rolling for the final 2 minutes here in this third period of play. 40-22 the shot. Slovakia, you know, after that second period got underway, they decided to start shooting the puck, and they started having some success out there. So Canada one last ice of the puck on the penalty kill. 10 seconds to go. Colin, I understand the subscribe thing is annoying. I get it 100%. It's a tale as old as time here on YouTube, though. If you don't ask, you don't get. And unfortunately, in the World Juniors, it's kind of a tough go here. The shot for Slovakia, sorry, I was going to interrupt for a goal, but Slovakia missed that one wide. I will tell you, the thing with the subscribe is the average view duration. So this live stream's been live for 3 hours and 38 minutes now. The average view duration per view is about 1 minute and 25 seconds. So Colin, while I understand 100% what you're saying, is I have about maybe at most a 2-minute window per person on average to get somebody hooked and to stay tuned. So that's kind of where it's at. But yeah, no, it's a very interesting situation, right? I mean, I hear it all the time during the during the Oilers playoff games. Like, just keep it on the game, and that's where really the introduction, as we were talking about a moment ago, of Matt during the 2024 playoffs was a real game changer. It's because then it really gave me that, hey, we're calling a game, we're providing a broadcast feel, whereas normally I have to do everything myself, and it kind of throws things for a loop when I'm trying to stay on task. So Misa behind the net, we are going to roll this one down. 11 sec. Oh no, that's 11. As in Tisha Ginla jamming away at Lendak with 33.2 seconds to go. Canada got some good chances there, but yeah, it's a definite weird situation, these World Juniors. The just fun fact, I don't know if I ever really share this with everybody during the Oilers streams. I know several of you would understand this from watching, but during the Oilers streams, the average view duration on a live stream for the Oilers, especially in the playoffs, if the game goes to overtime, usually pushes north of 6 minutes per view. And I'm getting usually the same amount of views on the stream as a World Junior stream. So that's just how incredibly different the two styles of live stream here on the channel are. And it's just one of those real special things when those playoff streams get going. Like, I feel like crying at the end of the live stream. It's just like, man, I'm living my dream, and all I'm doing is broadcasting in front of a whole bunch of jerseys in front of my TV. 15 seconds to go here in the third period of play, friends. Mercifully, this game is over. Canada advances to the semifinals. Unless I'm 100% mistaken, they will play Finland in the semis. Finland upsetting the United States earlier today. A 7-1 final for Canada over Slovakia. The shots finish 41-22, something like that. I'm sure it'll adjust a few times before the end of the game, so stay tuned, or before the end of the night, stay tuned. Cole Reshny from Keaton Verhoff and Cole Beaudoin, Tisha Ginla from Porter Mortone, Michael Misa from Zane Parekh and Ethan McKenzie, Sam O'Reilly, Carson Carrolls, Caleb Denoyes. That's 4-0 Canada in the first. Brady Martin power play goal from Gavin McKenna and Michael Hage, and then Porter Mortone from Keaton Verhoff and Michael Misa, Cole Beaudoin from Sam O'Reilly and Zane Parekh. 7-0. Jan Chauvin, good show for him tonight from Adam Coleman and Michael Kapos. That's the end. That's the final. Friends, glad to have you aboard here tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out. Slovakia, again, if I can have a moment to finish your tournament with you, a fantastic showing for your team again. Again, Slovakia proves that they can hang with the big boys. Maybe the results aren't where you'd like them to be, but Slovakia is growing and getting going every single year here. Another quarterfinal matchup against Canada in which, yes, Canada laid back the back half of the game, but Slovakia didn't take that as an excuse to quit. They took that as an excuse to, go out there and make a game of it for what it could be. And a valiant effort there late from Slovakia. Just continue pushing, keep the Canadians honest, and make the game what it was. It was a fun hockey game. Friends, we'll be getting going here on Sunday. Tomorrow afternoon, though, I plan on being live for the Oilers versus Philly Flyers game, so stay tuned for that. For right now, though, thanks for being aboard again. I know we talked about this just a moment ago, but if you're heading out and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button for me here on Dolynny TV and for all you back home. It's a 7-1 final for Canada. Thanks for being aboard. Have yourself a great night. Stay safe if you're partying on this Friday night before the real world starts January 5th.